honored for his leadership at LBCC and unwavering commitment to empowering unhoused and low-income students. This is an opportunity for trustees to give remarks, but also I'd like Dr. Munoz to give a few remarks, and then we'll hear from Edgar.
Thank you, Board President Ntuk. All I can say is I am so tremendously proud of Edgar and his courage, and it's, I think, quite fitting that he's been bestowed the Courage Award because, as you know, Edgar has been so brave to share his own experience dealing with housing insecurity. And because he's been able to share his story, it's, I think, really empowered other students to come forward and get the support that they need. So Edgar, we are so incredibly proud of you. And with that said, I turn it back over to the board.
Thank you so much. Edgar, would you like to share a few words at the podium?
Thank you for today. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do I wouldn't be able to done what I've done without my team. They helped me along the way. It was a really hard journey, talking about the worst time of my life, you know, and explaining it out there and putting it out there. And I really like to be thankful to Theo and Olivia. They really held me when I was down, and they really helped me back up. And thanks to the school, thanks to the Board of Trustees, thanks to Basic Needs, I got back up, and I'm doing better than ever. So I'd like to thank all of you, because without you, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So again, thank you.
We'll have a few comments from trustees, and then we'll take a recess to take a photo. We'll go to Trustee Zia.
Edgar, I can't begin to tell you how infinitely proud I am of you. I am so grateful that I had an infinitesimal role to your success in the startup of Basic Needs and our Helping the Homeless Associate Group that we started, Trustee Baxter and I. And then with the leadership of this board and this superintendent over the past 10 years, we have been able to, well, there was boards before this board, get it to this point that students can feel safe, can be able to access basic needs and not be stigmatized. And I'm so proud of you for paying it forward by what you have done. I'm trying not to get emotional here too with varying degree of success, but there's not enough emotional granularity and language for me to express what kind of a pride and joy it gives me to see you succeed and students like you and make us proud in the community. Thank you. Thank you so much for putting this on the platform and giving more insight to other students. Thank you for being our partner, and thank you for being a shining beacon of hope of what success looks like and what one person can do. I honor you, and I see you, and I'm proud of you.
Trustee Malauulu.
Edgar, I'd also like to echo my colleagues' comments and just thank you on behalf of our students. You've gone above and beyond as a support, a staff person who supports our students. You really exceeded any expectation that we have, and that says a lot because you represent a member of a staff that always goes above and beyond. So we have staff that day in and day out goes the extra mile for our students. We see it, we hear about it. So for me to say that you've gone above and beyond with the staff who already goes above and beyond says a lot about you. So on behalf of our students and the many students that you've helped along the way, the students that you've supported, the board would like to thank you. And you know, it's always the same. The hardest working people tend to get more work thrown at them. Don't stop. keep going, do more, because you are the right person at the right time for that right position. So I look forward to what you're going to do next, because I know you're just getting started. Good work.
Student trustee.
Edgar, so I see you like all over campus, and you are a walking testament of what a student leader should be. I don't know if everybody in this room knows, but Edgar actually started the Basic Needs Vaz Club. And because of that and all of the work that Edgar does and his experience that he has with homelessness, students moving forward won't have that same experience. And it's because of you, people will be able to be in a better position. And Edgar, I don't know if you know this level of appreciation people are giving you. Like, you deserve your flowers. You do more than what a lot of people do nowadays. And I just want you to know, me as a student, all of our on behalf of our entire student body, like, we recognize you. We see you in the SJIC. We see you in basic needs. Anytime someone needs help with something, you're always there. So I just want you to know that on behalf of the student body, we really appreciate all the work that you do. And we're so excited to see and you continue that work. Thank you, Edgar.
Dr. Morton.
Edgar, thank you. I echo everything that has already been said, but I also would like to point out, because of your courage to speak up and go beyond, you not only helping our students here at LBCC, but because of the additional, your story and how it's gone with the in the press, you're able to help students that are not only here but across the country, and that is a true testament to your nature and your giving spirit and your leadership here. So I want to thank you on behalf of the board for everything that you're doing, not only for the students here, but for the students across the country who need to hear the story, and in your example and your courage to continue on in everything that you're doing now. So thank you very much.
Dr. Baxter.
Yes, Edgar, I want to congratulate you on behalf of the board and my colleagues. I didn't want you to think that I didn't care about you, so I have to say something. But as Trustee Zia said, she and I have been working on homelessness, but you've probably done more to get the publicity out than we have, because people pay attention to individuals. And so on behalf of the helping homeless students, I want to thank you very much and congratulations.
And Edgar, I'll just add in closing that we recognize your leadership, appreciate all that you do, and please continue that work. We want to uplift what you're doing. If you go tonight on lbcc.edu, you are on the homepage. We send a press release out with photos and descriptions. Hopefully it'll be in the newspaper tomorrow morning, that we want people to know what your leadership has done, and we want you to do more. You've done so much, but at Long Beach City College, this is a springboard. We want you to be able to have even more impact on the good work that you're doing. So thank you, Edgar, and we're going to take a quick recess and take a photo. So one more round of applause for Edgar, please. we'll reconvene here. Moving to item 3.2, this is a resolution to request the naming of the Performing Arts Center and approval of an associated gift. And I'm going to ask Trustee Malulu to read 3.2 for us and introduce the item, as this has to do with West Long Beach.
Thank you, Board President, Trustee Untuck, for allowing me the privilege of reading the information for item 3.2. For the benefit of the public, this is an item that I initiated back in 2019 when I was board president for the first time around. And as many of you know, government is slow, and 5 years later, it's finally happening. So it's been a very long time, and I would like to thank, and we haven't even gotten to it, but I really would like to thank our superintendent president, Dr. Mike Munoz, for this, because I think out of everybody that's worked on this project, Dr. Munoz has probably, again, we have so many people who go above and beyond. You've really gone above and beyond. And I'm very grateful that this is happening because it involves Jenny Rivera, who is from West Long Beach and attended Long Beach Poly High School and Long Beach City College, and is one of my personal favorite singers. If you ever have the misfortune of doing any karaoke with me, you know I can't sing, but I will always sing a Jenny Rivera song. I'm sorry, Jenny, I know it's terrible, but it really pleases me to know that someone from my trustee area will be honored in this way, and someone as talented as her will be able to have a facility where students who find themselves in the same financial, economic, family dynamics that she comes from will hopefully someday find the success that she did. So with that, thank you, Trustee Untuck, and I'm going to read what's on the agenda. Pursuant to the district's established facility naming procedures, a request was brought forward seeking to name the Liberal Arts Campus Performing Arts Center Building G in honor of Jenny Rivera. Consistent with Board Policy and Administrative Procedure 6620, naming facilities and properties, the naming request was reviewed through the district's process and approved by the President's Leadership Council on November 17, 2025. Jenny Rivera was a celebrated artist, entrepreneur, and philanthropist whose influence extended beyond the entertainment industry. Raised in Long Beach, Rivera attended Long Beach City College and often credited her resilience and early accomplishments to the values and experiences gained in her hometown community. Rivera went on to become one of the most successful regional Mexican recording artists in history, earning multiple Billboard Latin Music Awards, selling millions of albums worldwide, and achieving international acclaim for elevating women's voices within a traditionally male-dominated genre. Beyond her artistic success, Rivera demonstrated a profound and enduring commitment to the Long Beach community. She founded the Jenny Rivera Love Foundation, which provides critical support to survivors of domestic violence, single mothers, and underserved youth. Rivera actively championed local nonprofits, community centers, youth development programs, and educational initiatives, which encouraged Long Beach students to pursue higher education. Her advocacy, mentorship, and philanthropy have left a legacy that continues to benefit the community today. Naming the Performing Arts Center in honor of Rivera recognizes her artistic contribution, her ties to Long Beach and Long Beach City College, and her legacy of service, empowerment, and cultural pride. To support the requested naming, Jenny Rivera Enterprises, LLC, on behalf of the Jenny Rivera family, has committed a $2 million gift to the LBCC Foundation. The gift will establish an endowment to support district programs and services with the following allocation: 50% performing arts support through scholarships and programs, 25% performing arts maintenance, the center maintenance, 20% student parent support, scholarships and programs, 5% President's Circle. In connection with the naming request, the district has negotiated gift agreement CN 930484 with Jenny Rivera Enterprises LLC, granting naming rights for Building G to be designated as the Jenny Rivera Performing Arts Center. In consideration of the rights and privileges provided under the agreement, the donor will contribute a total donation of $2 million to be paid over a 10-year period. The agreement complies with Board Policy and Administrative Procedure 6620, naming facilities and properties and applicable district requirements. And with that, Trustee Untuck, I would like to make a motion that the Board of Trustees adopt Resolution 121025B, approving the naming of the Liberal Arts Campus Performing Arts Center, Building G, as the Jenny Rivera Performing Arts Center, and authorize the Vice President, Business Services, or designee to enter into an executive gift agreement, gift agreement CN 930484 with Jenny Rivera Enterprises LLC for a $2 million commitment to the LBCC Foundation for the purposes described above. Yes, I did. All right. So it has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the item? Trustee Baxter and then Trustee Zia.
Yes. Those of you who know me, I know a lot about history. And I just wanted to say that Jenny Rivera earned a Rotary Scholarship while she was at Long Beach City College. And I looked up in all the programs just to check, and it's true. So she was not only a good student, she was also a scholar, and obviously a very successful businesswoman.
I just wanted to say how grateful I am for this gift, and it is really apropos and certainly appreciated.
Thank you. I wish, I'm sorry, go ahead, Trustee Untuck, sorry. You have the floor, sir.
No problem, thank you. I too just want to speak on behalf of this contract we're about to adopt. You know, it's so, we have so many great alumni from Long Beach City College. This year, during our Hall of Fame ceremony, we were able to induct Jenny Rivera into the Long Beach City College Hall of Fame, and I was able to meet her family and her daughter, and they did a really great video, maybe it's on YouTube or not, about just her life and her impact and who she was. And I think, you know, I'm an engineer, so I'm always about, you know, numbers and science, but the impact of art and the intangible benefits you get from music, it's just, she is the best of that. And what she did as far as her global impact, and she got started right here at Long Beach City College, it will make such a big difference in everyone's lives. I just want to celebrate that. Also, I do want to thank her family, her daughter, her children, for their support. We have a lot of names on buildings, and we don't have a name like Jenny Rivera, and it's on our brand new Performing Arts Center, where, you know, the next generation of students are going to be trained and opportunities to be the next Jenny Rivera. So it's just such a great symbol and achievement tonight, and I just really want to lift that up and thank the family and encourage the board to support the item.
Thank you. Dr. Munoz? Trustee Untuck said what I had planned on saying. We have a lot of great donors to our district who have contributed significantly, and their names are prominently placed, but not one of those names has that Latino flavor. And to have a building named Rivera means something to this little Honduran immigrant girl who can look up to a building and see that someone who was poor and at one point homeless and a single mother and who was a victim of domestic violence rose through prominence to be able to donate $2 million to have this building named after her. To the family, and I really do wish, I know that there's a lot of schedule conflicts, and I know that you all have so many things happening, but to the family, I've been able to say this to you personally. Thank you for sharing your mom with us. Thank you for sharing her many talents with us. Even posthumously, you continue to share her. And while I never met Jenny, I attended her concerts. I am friends of her friends, and I have met everyone in her family. I was at the Jenny Rivera Park naming with the city and got to hang out with her family a few times. But yesterday, which is really sad, I always remember December 9th, in 2012 was the day that Jenny passed. She was tragically killed in a plane crash. And I always remember that day. I remember, you know, you always hear, you know what you were doing when something happened, when someone passes. And I remember exactly what I was doing. I was on a softball field. And someone called and said, oh my gosh, did you hear about Jenny? So I'll never forget that. And I think it's significant that, you know, 13 years to her passing, here we are naming this building after her. So thank you, Dr. Munoz. Thank you for everyone making it happen. Madam Secretary, we do have a motion and a second on the floor. We'll take a vote. Roll call vote, please.
Student Trustee Leotawa,
Aye.
Virginia Baxter,
Aye.
Annette Morton,
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu,
Aye.
Uduak-Joe Ntuk, Sunny Zia.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries, and thank you to the Rivera family.
It's not every meeting we accept $2 million, so great. Thank you. We're now going to move to the next three items. Well, let's see, we have 3.3. We're going to move up 10.2. Maybe we should do that before we move. Okay, let's go to 10.2 that we moved up earlier before we pass this off to Dr. Munoz for the following items. 10.2 is the LBCFA initial bargaining proposals to district, full contract renewal. Government Code Section 3547 requires that all initial proposals of exclusive representation in the district be presented at a public meeting of the Board of Trustees. The current agreement from 2023 to 2026 between the Long Beach Community College District and Long Beach Community College Faculty Association expires on June 30th, 2026. Accordingly, on November 24th, 2025, the district received the Sunshine proposal, with LBCCFA stating their intentions to address the articles listed below. Article 5, leaves, update and clarification on parental and pregnancy leave. Article 11, salary, competitive salaries and overtime with comparable colleges to attract and retain the best possible professors for Long Beach City College. Article 13, retirement options and benefits, equity and retirement benefits with other bargaining units. Lastly, a new article on dual enrollment. Define members' rights on dual enrollment assignments in accordance with Administrative Regulation 2003.3. The public will be given no less than 14 calendar days to review the proposal. As a result, the hearing for providing the public the opportunity to express itself on the LBCCFA initial bargaining proposal will be held at the Board of Trustees meeting on January 21st, 2026, which at time will appear on the agenda for adoption by the board. This is not an action item, but it is an item we can discuss, and we do have one speaker, Ryan Carroll, with us, who had gave his card earlier, but is here now. Ryan, if you want 3 minutes to chime in.
All right, thank you. With that introduction of the Sunshine Notice, there's not too much to talk about, right? Just as a preface for everyone, right? The contract gets opened once every 3 years for the full contract opening. This is that cycle in which we are doing it. We very much hope that we can finish negotiations by the end of this academic year so that everyone can get on with their lives with other things. So the faculty union, right, is very interested, of course, with making sure that we have competitive pay, to make sure that we get the best LBCC professors, to make sure that we keep the best LBCC professors. We love it here. We just want to make sure that we are remunerated for that. Because of the district's new focus on dual enrollment, we're very excited to do dual enrollment, but we just want to make sure that we have rights as we go out into those assignments. We want to make sure they're inside the contract so that they can feel that they have protection from the college, in these brave new worlds when they are sent out on assignment. Just for the retirements, many other bargaining units get 1 year of health benefits for every 3 years of service that they provide. For our faculty, it's only 1 year of benefits for every 5 years of service. So over a 30-year term, 30-year service period, that is 6 years versus 10. We just want to seek equity with the other bargaining units or, right, make progress towards that. And then leaves, right, we just have had a little bit of drama, and we'd prefer to do this through contract negotiations than grievances, right? Makes everyone look better if we define everything better in the contract so that our members, again, are protected, right? It's one of the few careers, really, that exist in the 21st century where people can really start a family, and we just want to make sure that that is still open to our faculty. And so we are very open to hearing public comment in the next Board of Trustees meeting. And with that, I release my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. Any other comments? Seeing hearing none, we'll go back to item 3.3. And for the next 3 items, I'll hand it over to Dr. Munoz to chair the meeting.
Thank you, Board President Ntuk. So it's my pleasure to introduce item 3.3, recognition of the 2024-2025 President of the Long Beach Community College District Board of Trustees. This item reads, in recognition of his service as President of Long Beach Community College Board of Trustees from December 24th to December 2025, I, the Superintendent President, will present Uduak Joe-Ntuk with a plaque on behalf of the board. At this time, I'd like to open it up before we do, for the board members to be able to provide any comments. Vice President Morton.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that this year just absolutely flew by. It was a full year, full of lots of impactful things for the college, and I just want to congratulate Board President Ntuk for being an outstanding president, and your guidance really helped us focus and move the institution forward towards our mission and vision and goals for all the students and in the community. So thank you for everything, and look forward to what comes next.
Trustee Malulu.
Thank you, Dr. Munoz. I too would like to congratulate Board President Ntuk. I don't know how you do it, but you always remain calm. Today I was reminded of something my abuelita taught me when I was very little, where she said, don't speak on things when you don't know the whole story, when you don't know the backstory, when you don't know all the details. She said, just because you see something or you read something doesn't mean that that's the whole story. And I was reminded of that today because there are, opinions out there, and it's just not the whole story. It's not the backstory. It's not the behind the scenes story. So I commend you, Trustee Ntuk, for your composure, for always keeping your cool. You're a better person than I am in that regard. And I do believe that you're a great leader, even though I don't always disagree with you. In fact, we're disagreeing on something right now. And not this very moment, but, underlying disagreement. But you are always professional. And I think that shows in the way you raise your children, the way you lead your family, the way you are in the community. You know how to just, follow the rules, follow the process, let things happen, trust the process. So we could all learn from something. Learn something from you. Thank you for your service, and it's a tough place to be. Thank you.
Student Trustee Leotawa.
On behalf of the students, President Ntuk, I just want to also congratulate you. I think my very first impression of you was like what Trustee Malulu said, is like your very calm demeanor. My first ever board meeting here, I was very nervous. And then you came up to me and you're like, you're doing great, just try your best. This is when the board docs post, like, you should do this and that. And your guidance and your leadership shows not only on the board, but it trickles down to the student body as well. Seeing on campus the type of waves and movements you're making within our students and our student body is something that I truly admire, and I hope to continue that your presence and your leadership is something that we can always have here at LBCC. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So with that said, Board President, would you like to say a few words?
I wasn't ready. Thank you to my colleagues, and thank you for everyone's support this past year. You see us on the dais here, but there's much more that goes into this role and our work beyond what we do once a month up here. I'm an Eagle Scout, and one of the things they teach you is to leave the place you found better, leave somewhere better than when you found it. And that's always been my guiding principle of what can I do to make Long Beach City College a better place, whether that's board rules or student trips or new policies for, or leading the bond measure campaign so we can put an I Love LBCC statue outside. You know, all those things matter, but I think as a group, we've been able to focus on academic outcomes, making sure that we have fair compensation for our workers. I was counting it up. I've been on the board 7 years. It's a 34% raise has happened over the last 7 years since I've been here. And Dr. Munoz tells me that's the most ever, but you know, we'll see. But it's just, it's a partnership. I don't do it alone. I thank my family, my supporters, everyone who comes to these meetings. I know sometimes we go long, but this is, to me, an exercise in leadership. I try to behave in a way that reflects to the students what leaders should do. You know, we have conversations before, so make sure that we're on the same page before things happen, because not everything happens here in the dais, but we have emails and text messages and phone calls, and I just encourage folks to support Long Beach City College, and let's continue to do work so that we can continue to be the best community college in America. So thank you.
Thank you, Board President Entek. So with that said, if we're going to take a small break, and we're going to do a photo and present you with a plaque down in front. So we'll continue in a moment. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Section 4, Annual Reorganization of Board Officers. Item 4.1, Annual Reorganization of Board of Trustees Nominations for President of the Board. The recommended action is that the Board of Trustees elect a President of the Board for the 25-26 year. I hereby open the floor for nominations for President of the Board for 25-26. Trustee Malulu?
Yeah, I would like to continue to serve under Trustee Untuck's leadership. I'd like to nominate him for president. Would you accept that? Oh, great. Thank you.
Okay, each nomination requires a second. So we have a first with Trustee Malulu. We would need a second.
Second.
Seconded by VP Morton. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare nominations are closed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Any abstentions? Congratulations, Board President Ntuk. I will now turn the meeting over to Board President Ntuk.
All right, thank you so much. One more time. It'll be easier this time around, right? Thank you, Dr. Munoz. We'll move to item 4.2. This is also part of the annual reorganizing of the board. This is for the role of vice president for the year of 2025, 2026. Hereby open the floor for nominations for vice president of the board for the next year. Trustee Malulu?
If Dr. Morton would like to continue to serve, I will nominate her for another year as vice president.
All right, I can second that. Any other nominations? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close nominations. At this time, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and congratulations, Dr. Morton. The next 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and 4.6 are appointments the appointments of the board president, which we will do at another time. We're going to move to item 5 of the section here. Go to 5.1. We have ASB President Prince Bass to give his monthly report. Prince, come on up.
Good evening. First, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who is the head of my life. Next, I want to thank Board President Ntuk, Superintendent President Dr. Munoz, trustees, administrators, staff, and the student body that I proudly represent. I want to begin with the words of our own mission statement, because this is the standard that we believe in. Long Beach City College is committed to empowering our students to become active, ethical participants in their learning, as well as in the democratic structures that give them voice and agency in shaping their society and world. In an environment that is caring, supportive, and inclusive, LBCC promotes equitable learning, educational achievement by delivering innovative, high-quality degree programs, certificate programs, holistic support services, and leading-edge workforce preparation for our diverse communities. That is a powerful mission. Tonight, I'm here to say we are plainly not living it. And before I go further, let me be clear. We are not afraid of any retaliation. We are not afraid of any cyberbullying, harassment, defamation by the Viking News, angry alumni, scare tactics, or even death threats. You have already taken the two most valuable things that students have, our time and our voice. Tonight, we're using both. In our nursing program, Black students are almost invisible. We have cohorts of around 50 students, and most years we maybe see 2 Black students go through the program. That's less than 5%. Some of our Black nursing hopefuls have 4.0 GPAs, and they're being told they're overqualified, that their grades are actually a disadvantage, and they might need to lower them to have a chance. These are often mothers, parents, juggling school, work, and childcare, doing everything they can to create a better life for their families. The lottery was a system that had no accountability, and now this new system just moves the needle and makes it even harder. When they finally lose hope here, they take on more debt at a private program or walk away from nursing altogether. Even though they are usually completing all of their prerequisites on this very campus, and all this is happening in a country where Black mothers are dying in childbirth at a far higher rate than any other group. We do not need fewer black nurses at LBCC. We desperately need more. This is not what equity looks like. This is not what diverse communities and our mission looks like. Next, I'm also here with a simple message. The Viking no longer represents the mascot for 2025. We often hear Vikings stand for strength and courage, but if we're honest about history, Vikings were raiders and enslavers. They attacked communities and built power through violence. If we were started from scratch today, we wouldn't pick the Vikings. We would not choose pirates or conquerors as they are in the same family. This directly clashes with the values the board has endorsed: diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging. Our students are majority of color, first generation, working, parenting, and many carrying trauma. Yet our main symbol is a hyper-masculine, Eurocentric warrior. It asks those same students to rally around an image rooted in conquest, and that is the opposite of a healing, trauma-informed campus. In a time where some Viking imagery shows up on hate flags and propaganda, keeping that mascot is not just a branding choice, it's a reputational risk and a message. Tradition matters, but a tradition that harms belonging is not neutral. Students are telling you that this mascot does not represent who we are now. Third, at the start of this semester, I printed and studied our Constitution before the students elected me because I owed them my best. This weekend at SSCCC Advocacy Academy, I went back to that document and compared it to the version that we are now being told to follow, a version that was silently and secretly amended. In the original version, Article 11, Section 1, Clause 3 clearly laid out the initiative and referendum process. It sets a clear timeline to validate petitions, limit advisor interference, and require the president to call a special election within 1 to 3 weeks once students met the requirements. By removing the only enforceable mechanism that compels elections, this change functionally disables initiative, referendum, recall, transparency, and representation. This is the same type of tactic that's used in election rigging. Remove the rules that force a vote, and leadership can silence whatever issue they want that they don't want to address. As a state, we just rejected Proposition 50 because of these similar tactics. And the most serious issue of all, there is no record of a constitutional amendment hearing, a public reading, a cabinet discussion, a student body voice, advisor disclosure, administrative review. This means this alteration was made silently, unilaterally, outside the amendment process, in violation of the Constitution itself. Such a change is procedurally invalid, legally unenforceable, and ethically unacceptable. We demand that you begin a proper public amendment process to rebuild the protections that were removed. Bring back clear timelines, limits on advisor interference, and guarantee special elections for initiatives and referendums. In the meantime, restore the original Constitution we started this year with. Immediately halt all adoptions of BPs and APs for the school year that affect ASB directly, as it is reactive and not proactive. 2, conduct a full investigation and audit, ordering the independent investigators into the communications between advisors and ASB about initiatives, referendums, constitutional edits, review relevant meetings, please, for advisor interference, intimidation, and overreach. Share the findings with the board and the student body. 3, reassign the current ASB advisor. Given the repeated pattern of interference, intentionally stifling student progress, and changes made without proper student process, reassign the current advisor for the remainder of the semester, and appoint an interim advisor or a team that understands shared governments, respects student autonomy, and supports rather than controls leaders.
President Bass.
4.
President Bass, that's your time. If the board is open to it, to allow additional 2 minutes to finish what you have to say.
Are you open to
Is
it?
that no objections? Okay. Please
Thank
continue.
you. 4, fix nursing equity. As a Black serving institution, conduct a public equity review of nursing selection process and commit to enrolling at least 10 African-American students in each cohort with transparent criteria and strong support so our nursing program better reflects our community we serve. I would prefer 50%, but I understand that there are some people who may say that is too much, but hypercritical when the exact numbers are from other denominations. And 5, retire the Viking mascot and create a new symbol with full support, formally commit to retiring the Viking mascot and launching a student-led community-informed process to select a new mascot that represents all of us with full institutional support, including surveys, signage, tabling, clear timelines, and real collaboration on both retiring the Viking and adopting a new symbol, and collaborate with ASB for a final resolution. If our mission is to empower students as ethical participants in democratic structures, then we cannot keep silencing student voices, hiding constitutional edits, or clinging to symbols that harm belonging. We are not here to tear down LBC. We are here because we love this college enough to tell the truth and demand better. You have taken our time. You have tried to take our voice. Tonight, we are using both. I am asking you all to match the courage that the students are showing right now. Listen, repair what is broken, align our actions with the mission that we proudly quote. Because before you have a government, you must first have the people. So tonight, the people are speaking. Thank you.
Thank you. Next student trustee Leotello.
Okay. Talofa and Fakalofa Lahiatu, everyone. I can't believe we are approaching the last few days of the semester. This fall really had somewhere to be, but without a further ado, here is my report. So for the beginning of last month, I attend and speak at the MANA programs and LBCC, APID, Student Clubs, Coconut Food Fest. This event was planned by the MANA Student Council, which are students who represent each of their respective Asian Pacific Islander and DESTI student organizations. As I mentioned in the last board meeting, our APID students face distinct challenges and have distinct cultural strengths. Despite this, one thing that connects the APID and mostly all of our communities is food. We learned about different APID cultures through coconuts. So I just want to thank you, the MANA Team Program, and all of the APID student clubs for always finding ways to highlight and educate our campus community of who we are. So I had the opportunity to connect with a nonprofit organization called Rainbow Labs, aligned with LBCC's equity plan, which prioritizes culturally relevant counseling and direct access to CEP services for LGBTQ+ and AA and HPI students. I connected with the co-founder of Rainbow Labs, a nonprofit creating space, mentor-led spaces for queer and gender non-conforming youth. Rainbow Labs has expressed interest in collaborating with our Pride Scholars program to support our LGBTQ+ students, and we are currently planning potential partnership opportunities for the spring semester. Alongside the ASB President Prince Bass, I had the honor of emceeing the first generation college student luncheon. Like myself, and for many of us in this room, we are first generation students. We understand that education was never our way out, it was our way into honoring the sacrifices made for us, into understanding, into empowerment, into serving others, and into new possibilities. Education is the bridge that connects where we come from to where we hope to be. Thank you to the First Generation Planning Committee for putting together all these events to highlight our first generation student community here on campus. Additionally, I had the opportunity to meet with 3 vice presidents this month. I met with VP Dr. Corral, TT Associate Vice President Dr. Kirkwood, and Vice President of the Workforce and Career Development, Vice President Madrid. I had the opportunity to listen and learn from each of these presidents, and I look forward to connecting with them in the future to explore new ways to collaborate within their departments and support our student community. Last night, I had the opportunity to attend the LBCC Nursing Pinning Ceremony, and I don't know about everyone else, but I shared it with Board Vice President Dr. Morton that I love commencements. I love seeing our students embark on one of the most pivotal moments of their lives, and not only seeing their families and how much pride and love they have in their graduates. If you look at the picture at the bottom right, it's like all of the students' families just taking pictures and taking so much pride and honor in their graduates. After the ceremony, I had the opportunity to connect with some of the nursing program graduates and their families. I wanted to give a special shout out to Jocelyn Loinga Tungalia, who was the only Pacifica student to walk during yesterday's nursing pinning ceremony. I personally love seeing the NHPI community in spaces where we are not a form of entertainment and even in sports. And it's very important for us to be in these different spaces where we're not usually seen and represented. To our nursing program, vocational and associates program, students, graduates, it's like your student speaker, Luz Moreno Ramos, shared. It may feel like the end, but it is the beginning of every life you guys begin to touch. Congratulations again, and go LBCC. As we are ending the fall semester, I just want to give my sincere love and appreciation to our ASB cabinet and board. Prince and I are usually the ones who get recognition due to positionality, but I want to just take this time to say thank you for all that the ASB has done and are planning to do for our student body. Thank you, ASB. And finally, as we are reaching the last few days of the semester, to the entire LBCC student body, I want to leave you with this Psalm 1 proverb that says, Tu maya fa'atino le fa'amoimoy, which means stand strong and fulfill your purpose. The blessings that come into our lives grow from the sacrifices you make, the long hours, the hard work, and the times when you push through even when you didn't feel like it. Every bit of effort, every assignment is moving you from where you are now to where you want to be. So as you wrap up the semester, take a moment to give yourself a pat on the back. Be proud of what you've done. Good luck on your finals and your last assignments for your class. You've got this. And that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll go to Ben Chase, classified Senate report.
Thank you, Dario. As you can see in front of you, you see CC Sadler there in the center. I just want to read what, if you can't see this at home, it's full hearts. Nothing is better than spending time with the LBCC family. We recently had the groundbreaking ceremony, and the reflection and hope is how CC and I were talking about it, that it's beginning of a new era. As you can see, the pit was the thing that we were almost enamored with for it, because that was where we all registered for classes back in the day. As you can see here is my colleague, as a shout out to her, Camille Bolton. She was setting up the Building E ceremony. Here you see the International Cultural Fest that was held on November 19th. It was a very busy day that day for it. And you can see in the background there, Dr. Nina Richardson, my colleague in Enrollment Services family. And so I want to thank her for hosting an amazing event. As you can see here is our family in action. This is Brenda Ramos's family. It's her son and her two daughters. And I'm going to save their names for 1 second, just because you're going to see something start when we get to the next slide for it.
Hello, LBCC. Welcome to the Gobble and Give event. LBCC is celebrating basic needs giving with our Gobble and Give event, a moment to support our students and our community. With free food, resources available, we're here to make sure no student goes without. Together, we lift each other up. Go LBCC.
And why I saved the name is that is Alexander Brennan's son. He is not a student yet at Long Beach City College, but he was there supporting and helping out and being our focal point. Here again, you see Camille doing the behind the scenes before the president's open house party. And I want to say thank you again to her for that, as well as doing everything for today's retirement party for CC Sadler as well. Awesome opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Munoz, for having that. You got to see, we got to take a pretty good classified family photo at the event, and I appreciate everyone that was able to make it out. We did miss some of the folks that were there. We just took a photo early in the thing because we had a colleague returning. And as I spoke earlier, I wanted to show some more photos and share more love for CC. Embarrass her right now for this. I'm forever thankful for the moments we share, and I'm critical in how I said that because I'm not saying it's done. They're still to come. The photo you see in front of you is what we call the originals or the OGs for it in the beginning when the Classified Senate was reconstituted. I got to connect again today with our first president, Annie, was there. So we got 3 presidents, which was really awesome to do. So you can see Cece here with the Senate Council, one of the original pages that we had when Annie was president. It's just an opportunity for me to showcase and show some of the things that have happened over the time that CC was involved with the Senate. Most importantly here, I want to tell you, everyone here, CC is talented. She was an original. She's a supporter. She's my friend and confidant, and I appreciate and thank her for everything that she's ever done and will continue to do for myself, retirees of the college, and especially from the foundation and Dr. Baxter for being there as well today for it. And here, Dr. Munoz, our photo we took before, our blue shirts, they come back. Someday we'll get new shirts so that we can have a new picture, but we haven't done it. CC ushered in a time of connection and care, especially during the 2020 pandemic, so I want to say thank you to that. In my speech earlier today, this is the photo I was talking about, the final photo we took together for it. This is a classified Senate there with Chanel and also Javier. It was awesome to be there and see that. And I'll say this to you, aloha, my friend, for it, because I know that we'll be spending time together, or as the picture shows, deuces for it. It's a little old, but it's apropos for it. So thank you, Cece, for everything that you've done. And for the holiday season that we enter now, it's warmest wishes for us all in the new year. Please be safe, spend time with your family, take care of one another, and most importantly, recharge for the spring semester. This is a super important and awesome photo that I was asked to take, which I was very appreciative of. Feliz Navidad, Prospero Año y Felicidad. I say that as my friend Jose Feliciano, who I met when I was all of 9 years old, took me into his recording studio and shared with me the song and how I made it. So happy holidays from all of us. In the picture you see from the executive cabinet for it, the assistants, Haley, Natalie, Juliet, Kim N, myself in there, Kim C, and Lauren. I kind of thought it was Santa and his elves, because when they asked me to do it at first, I was like, okay, is it because I look like Santa with my beard right now as we're doing it? But I appreciate them all, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben, and congratulations, Cece. I think you were doing the USC Fight On, right? Was that what the... Thank you again for your service. Let's give Cece a big round of applause in her retirement. Thank you. Trustee Malauulu.
Thank you, Ben, for your report. Cece, I just want to make one quick statement that you probably don't remember this, but you are the first person I met other than Pat McKean and Rodri Rodriguez when I was hired in the journalism English department. You're the first person I met outside of the department because I needed help with my classroom computer. And when I called the IT department, you were the person that was assigned my call, so you came over to help me. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know what year that was, 2012 maybe, I don't know. But I just never forgot you. I never forgot your name. And so, Cece, you're the first LBCC person I met other than the people I worked with. So thank you for that and all those years of tech support. Congratulations. Sorry, I should have led with that. Congratulations on your retirement. Well deserved. Enjoy a long, happy, healthy retirement, my friend.
We'll go to Trustee Zia.
Hi, Cece. I am so happy to have had the opportunity to know you for all these years. You were the first person that welcomed me in 2014. I remember walking on campus, and you were so welcoming. There was this photo booth, and I just didn't really know what I was doing. And you took me, just with your warm embrace, you introduced me to everybody, your colleagues, and it was so special. I never expressed that to you. Just your warm embrace, your welcoming spirit for our students, our faculty, our administrators. It just was a testament that day. I'm like, she's really special, and you are. I'm so grateful for the work that you've done for this district. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see what kind of opportunities and adventures you have coming up, but I'm sure we're going to hear from you or see you, follow you, and live vicariously through you. So big mazel tov, big congratulations, and I look forward to hearing about your many exciting adventures to come in retirement.
Okay, Dr. Baxter.
I feel I have to say something because I discovered Cece when she was a student here. She was very artistic and did a lot of bulletin board making and things like that. And so then you graduated, you went on to Cal State, and you were working like as a window dresser or something like that. And I said, why don't you come work for me? It was much more exciting. And so Cece did work for me for 5 years, and she was the communications person. We put out a newsletter, and she got it all in a beautiful format. I was a writer, but I'm not the creator. And then I said, you know, you really should work at the college. You'll get a pension. You'll have a much better life. And so she followed my advice and applied for a job at the college. And I'm so pleased with you. I can't believe you're old enough to be retired, because to me, you're 30 years old, you know, but it can't be that I'm older, for sure. But anyway, congratulations, and thank you for all you've done for the college for all these years.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We're going to move to item 5.4, our academic senate report with Dr. Hunt.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Intuck, Superintendent President Munoz, distinguished board members and colleagues. I have a few highlights from the fall semester to share with you tonight. From student equity, the 2025-2028 Student Equity Plan has been approved and submitted to the Chancellor's Office. Applications for the equity mini grants for this year are now open and will close on February 27th, 2026. An information session for applicants was held last week, and the materials from the information session have been shared with the campus community this week for those who are unable to attend. From the Center for Teaching and Learning, the CTL wants to share the following highlights from this semester. Equity Congress collaboration. The CTL was invited to spend last Friday with the 2025-2026 cohort. It was beautiful to see vulnerable sharing while investigating key topics like student-professor behaviors and communication. In terms of College Culture Friday collaboration, there was a mid-semester CTL meet with the High Five, the new faculty cohort, and they shared one of their favorite tools with the cohort, the Teaching Effectiveness Framework. From the equitable teaching community, the ETC is moving forward with the spring 2026 cohort, which is fully enrolled and hopes to continue advancing equity for all students. We are particularly proud of our improved success rates for Black African American students in light of LBCC's new California Black Serving Institution designation, and are honored to continue that work. From curriculum, for fall 2025 has been a very busy semester for curriculum. Curriculum Chair Colin Williams wishes to express his gratitude to the members of the committee, to the Academic Senate, Academic Services, the deans, department heads, and all faculty who have worked on curriculum this semester. Together, disciplines successfully converted all the common courses in phase 2A and B ahead of schedule, while also modifying nearly 65 programs that have been impacted by common courses at the same time. We are well prepared to take on phase 3 next year. The committee has committed time to generating thoughtful approaches to Title V revisions around DEIA language and course outline of record, burden-free access to instructional materials, generative artificial intelligence in academics, and more. New courses, outcomes, and programs in forward-thinking industries like sustainability, artificial intelligence, construction, interior design, and trauma studies will be coming to the board in January. We are proud of our innovative faculty and their designs. We are also very proud that the college has earned a baccalaureate degree in library and information science. Anticipating this, the Curriculum Committee and its 6 subcommittees has already started conversations around how to design, assess, and promote upper division curriculum in the coming years. And in conclusion, I would like to thank all of our faculty for their hard work and dedication to our students in the college this semester. I hope that everyone has a wonderful, restful, and restorative holiday season. And that concludes my report. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hunt. And I just want to say thank you and congratulations on the BSI designation that came out last week. Thank you, the task force, VP Madrid, Carl Kemp, all those that were involved. It's a big accomplishment for us, so thank you all.
Thank you.
We're going to go to Dr. Munoz for Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Board President Intuck. Good evening. I am pleased to share highlights from this past month. We've made it to finals. To kick us off, we'll talk a little bit about the Building E groundbreaking. We were proud to invite the community to the Building E groundbreaking ceremony, marking an important milestone in our continued efforts to enhance campus facilities and improve the student learning environment. Let's watch a brief video showing the groundbreaking ceremony.
Hey LBCC, welcome to Building E groundbreaking event. Today we break ground on the new Building E Student Services Center. This project reflects the strong leadership at Long Beach City College and the partners who helped make it possible. Together, we're building spaces that elevate our student community and their path to success. Go LBCC!
Following the groundbreaking, we continue today with the International Student Cultural Festival, which brought our campus and together to celebrate global cultures and the vibrancy of our international student community. The events featured cultural performances, food, and activities. I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Nina Richardson and her team for organizing such a wonderful event. In response to the disruptions caused by the government shutdown, I want to talk a little bit about how, as a campus, we rallied to support our SNAP-identified students. So LBCC awarded a one-time emergency grant to provide $150 to 3,009 SNAP-identified students impacted by delays and disruptions caused by the government shutdown. This total of $451,350 distributed using one-time financial aid lottery funds. Students received funds via Bank Mobile, and it was a collaboration between financial aid, basic needs, and our fiscal team. So I really want to acknowledge the folks behind the scene who mobilized and moved so quickly to ensure that occurred. And a special thanks to Dr. Elizabeth Zavala, our Dean of Enrollment Services, and her team for coordinating and leading this effort. I was happy to join longstanding LBCC supporters, the Long Beach Rotary, for their annual scholarship program luncheon. The Rotary Scholarship Foundation has supported Long Beach area students since 1929. Nearly $500,000 in scholarships awarded annually to approximately about 225 students. LBCC students receive over $120,000 each year for the 100+ awards. Speakers at this event included Dr. Elisha Sims and Interim Dean of Student Equity, Lupe Pacias. Our continued support to support our community was on full display with the food bank distribution that was set up at Veterans Stadium. So continuing our focus on community partnerships, LBCC hosted a large-scale food distribution at Vet Stadium that supported thousands of local households. The event was held on Friday, November 21st in partnership with the LA Regional Food Bank, Supervisor Janice Hahn, and Mayor Rex Richardson. We served over 4,000 households who came through the drive-through distribution, and 200 volunteers contributed, including our very own trustees, Board President Uduak-Joe Intuk, Board Vice President Dr. Morton, and Trustee Mala'ulu. We have a highlight video to show that really captures this great event.
Hi, I'm Board President Uduak-Joe Intuk. We're here at Long Beach City College Vet Stadium for the free giveaway for food for LA County right before Thanksgiving.
Today at LBCC, our food drive brought the community together in a big way.
Thank you to all the incredible leaders who showed up to support our students and families. Your presence truly makes a difference. Together, we're keeping Long Beach nourished, supported, and strong for the holidays. Go LBCC!
Our commitment to creating a culture of care support for our housing insecure students or students dealing with homelessness doesn't just happen during the academic year. It also happens at different times of the year. So I'm very pleased to share that our bistro opened up for Thanksgiving, and our culinary students worked to prepare a wonderful Thanksgiving meal to provide to our students who are struggling with basic needs. I want to give a big thank you to Chef Haley Nguyen for initiating this event, in providing a warm and inclusive space for our basic needs students on that holiday. So it is the holiday season, and LBCC proudly participated in Belmont Shores Christmas Parade this past Saturday, showcasing, excuse me, showcasing LBCC spirit to thousands of residents. Featured LBCC students, staff, friends, and family, many who showed up in their pajamas because I think I heard they broke a Guinness World Record, and so that's pretty awesome. It also featured some great visibility for our LBCC as one of the largest parades floats in the region. So again, congratulations. Let's take a look at our reel from our social media. No reel? Okay, we're gonna go on to our next. As you heard earlier, we recognize Edgar Rosales for the Courage Project Award, but I wanna go into a little bit more detail. It was announced formally yesterday that LBCC student Edgar Rosales was selected by the Courage Project Award to receive a $25,000 Pay It Forward grant. This award recognized 12 organizations and individuals nationally who are aligned with the values of courage and community impact. Edgar selected Long Beach City College Foundation to receive the $25,000 donation so that other students in our Safe Parking program can receive assistance. Again, thank you, Edgar. So as the semester concludes, I want to wish everyone a joyful holiday season filled with rest, renewal, and connection with people and traditions you love. I'm grateful for the dedication and resilience of our LBCC community. I know this year has been very tough. It's been very difficult, a lot of severe impacts on our community, and we stand strong together. I look forward to starting winter session and spring semester with you all, and just know that your LBCC family is here for you. With that said, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Munoz. We're now moving to item 7.1. This is Board of Trustees' commitment to cooperative governance. There is a printout or a version available online that we put together as a group. I can share this was put together by a professional facilitator, mediator for the board over the last 4 months or so, where we all had an opportunity to weigh in. And I'll just briefly go over the areas before we go into discussion. So there's a commitment to trust and collaboration, conduct, preparation, and professional responsibilities, role of the board president in meeting decorum, governance principles and shared commitments, prohibited conduct, and a commitment to integrity, intent, and inquiry. There's more detail under each item, but wanted to just highlight that as we move forward. This is an action item that's recommended the board approve and adopt the agreement as submitted. I need a motion and a second to advance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Morton, seconded by Dr. Baxter. There's opportunity for discussion from the board. Dr. Morton.
Thank you, Board President Intuck. I think this is a good document, and it really outlines the key components for the self-governance, cooperative governance of the board. It particularly calls out the areas that are key: commitment to trust and collaboration, which is something that is the foundation of what we need to do together as a board.
Any other trustees? Seeing and hearing that, I'll just make some final comments. I was part of the Peralta College accreditation visit a couple years ago, and they did a similar document, a cooperative agreement. They were under findings and having accreditation issues, which part of it was their board conduct and behavior. And so that was an example or a model that we worked off up from Northern California as our model. But this was a collaborative effort. Everyone had an opportunity to put in. I hope when we adopt this resolution that we'll be able to put it on the agenda. Instead of having the mission and vision statement, we'd have this on the agenda for every month to remind us again why we're here and what we all agree to as board members. What we do matters. Our conduct is modeled by the students and the community. It's important that we take a declarative statement of how do we approach matters and how do we uphold ourselves. Under the accreditation standards, we can only govern ourselves. We can only keep ourselves accountable. Nobody else on campus can take action against the boards of the board for itself. And so this is part of our self-governance, but also our accreditation standards compliance. And this was a recommendation from one of our facilitators during our board retreat. I don't know if Trustee Malauulu had anything to add on the commitment to cooperative governance before we take a vote.
I do, and I apologize. I was dealing with the situation in the back boardroom there. If this has already been stated, I just want to say that I am in support of the board decision for this item. It has taken many, many months to get to this point, and one thing we cannot publicly talk about proceedings that happen in closed session. We are legally prohibited from doing that. And a lot of decisions that are made behind closed sessions are not made or taken lightly. They're actually weighed, and they're decisions that we have to deliberate both internally and as a body. So when these decisions come before the board for the public vote, please know that it's not just a surface agenda item that we're going to vote on today. Please know that research has been done, conversations have been had, consensus has been built. There is a majority of the board. We all have to work together. So I am in support of this, and I am also in support of the policies that we have implemented over the past couple of years. In fact, it was Trustee Untuck, the first time he was board president, who initiated board policy because he saw the need with the conduct on the board and the overall decorum of some of the behavior. And that was something he initiated that made our board better. I think I have an unfortunate record of adjourning a meeting at 2:56 in the morning. And when Trustee Untuck became board president, he said, never again, we're not doing that. We need to have board policies. We need to have procedures in place. So he really did a lot to restore the professionalism of what this board should have had all along. And I think that this reconciliation, this motion, I think is in line with that. So I am in support of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing and hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Secretary Reese?
Student trustee Leotawa.
Aye.
Virginia Baxter.
Aye.
Annette Morton.
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu.
Aye.
Uduak-Joe Ntuk.
Aye.
Sunny Zia.
Aye.
The agreement has been unanimously adopted, and we'll put it on the agenda going forward starting next month. Item 7.2, this is a resolution of reconciliation, apology, and closure. The Long Beach City College Board of Trustees seeks to address several board complaints per board policy and administrative procedure 2014. There is an attached resolution. This is an action item. We'll need a motion and a second to advance.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Trustee Malauulu, second by Vice President Morton. Any discussion on the item? Trustee Zia?
Yes, thank you. I would like to speak to members of the public directly. I want to speak to you from my heart as your elected representative of Area 3 for the past 11 and a half years. Everything I am about to say is based on my lived experience and from my perspective as a member of this board who has had to work with Mr. Ntuk since he was elected in 2018. He has played politics, threatened my ability to serve my constituents, played a key role in censuring me and in the board's decision to sue me. This resolution is another example of Mr. Ntuk playing politics yet again and trying to harm me. We brought a mediator to work out the issues between Mr. Ntuk and myself, but Mr. Ntuk would not take any responsibility for his conduct. This resolution is not what we had agreed to. Instead, it is full of falsehoods. For example, I have never called Trustee Ntuk an anti-Semite or anti-Semitic as the resolution purports. You can verify this by watching the May 2025 meeting. The resolution also misrepresents my attendance and notifications. The only time I have ever missed a meeting was in September 2020 when I was in a coma. And in May 2025, I left the meeting early because I felt ill. Nor have I displaced staff, such as in the Carpenters event, as alleged in this resolution. Members of the public, Mr. Ntuk has threatened me that if I don't apologize, he will lead another effort to censure me and sue me again. I cannot and will not apologize for things I did not say or do and are false as suggested in this resolution. You elected me to represent you, safeguard your hard-earned tax dollars that helps fund our college district, and to fight for our students. I am proud to have worked for you for nearly 12 years to fulfill that mission and refuse to play his political games nor to cower to threats or be bullied, especially as a woman. I will continue to focus on my commitment to you and the students. I invite Mr. Intuk to do the same.
Any other trustees like to talk?
Trustee Ntuk.
Trustee Malauulu?
Thank you. I wish there was a way that I could press play and repeat to everything I just said for the last agenda item, for the commitment to cooperative governance. We've had this conversation so many times, and without, here's the problem with the Brown Act. We can't talk about what we talk about behind closed session. In closed session, we can't talk about that. I can't tell you what we agreed to. I can't tell you what we talked about. I can tell you that, man, I'm not going to say anything because it's just too frustrating. It's just frustrating. I mean, wow, just wow. Thank you. Sorry, no, I have to bite my tongue.
Any other trustees? Dr. Baxter?
Yeah, as Trustee Malauulu says, we cannot discuss what we talked about in closed session. But personally, I was hoping that Sunny would issue a statement. She did not. I listened to the board meeting on YouTube to make sure that things were correct, and she did not call President Uduak, Joe Ntuk, anti-Semitic. But in that same meeting, she also got upset and interrupted, and I don't remember if she called your names, but anyway, she got very upset. And it's unfortunate, and some people believe you have a right to behave in a certain manner, and you can't tell people not to behave in a certain manner. And I have suggested that she adopt a different manner. But in my youth, I used to get very upset about things, and I guess with age, you just learn to go with the flow and just let things happen. And so it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
Dr. Morton? All right. Just for folks who don't have a copy of the resolution, it itemizes more than a half dozen complaints that have been filed by other members of the board about Trustee Zia's behavior over the past 12 months. We brought this forward as through our board policy 2014. There were no other complaints against any other trustees. And it ranged from public name calling, disparaging remarks about her colleagues at board meetings, criticizing the majority's decision, speaking over other trustees, violations of her disciplinary reprimand, attending events in her official capacity when she was not supposed to, making false and misleading public comments, falsely accusing me of not agendizing the Jewish American Heritage Month when we as a board voted that we would not agendize, and we don't agendize for Black History Month, Women's History Month, Latino History Month. We don't agendize it for any months anymore based on a decision, not when I was board president, but last year. Actually, somebody else was president. But it goes through, just a series of unprofessional conduct. It has nothing to do with her gender, her race, her religion. It's a matter of professional conduct. Yes, we have done 2 censures. I alone have not done it. I do not have single power to do such action. It's always been a group decision, whether it was Doug Otto or Herlinda Chico, or now Dr. Morton's here. I have no capacity to individually do what I'm alleged to do. So I just want to be clear of what we have here before us is we have attempted to take a different approach, a conciliatory approach. We retained a mediator probably 6 months ago for numerous trainings and sessions and guiding to make our cooperative governance agreement. We all participated in, and the goal was to have a positive outcome, not to have to do another censure, not to have more fighting, but just simply ask for professional conduct and respect of colleagues and maintain decorum. I don't think that's bullying. I don't think that's harassment. That's just conduct of the board. This entire board, we all did together. So it's not, it's difficult for me to listen to these, again, false claims blaming me for everything when, I don't control the conduct of my colleagues. And the violations that were all submitted, multiple of us people, we were there, or we all sat at this dais. So we don't need to go in a lengthy investigative report and hire an outside attorney to confirm. We all witnessed it, and we have to hold ourselves accountable. And that's what the board policy says. That's what the accreditation standard says. And that's why we brought this item today as proof in the future when we go to our next accreditation session that we did take action. We did hire a mediator. We did try to resolve the issue, but consistently it's only one trustee. It's not the other four of us. And it's not one person's fault. It's not my individual fault. I did nothing to provoke this behavior. And so, unfortunately, we're here again tonight after many times over the years to try to resolve and rectify a matter. To simply say, just be professional and respectful. That's it. We're not asking for a lot. So I don't know if there's support to adopt this resolution. The resolution is titled Reconciliation and Closure. We're trying to conclude the matter, but the apology was supposed to be from Trustee Zia to the board for her conduct, and that did not occur, or has not occurred tonight. So I don't know what the board's pleasure is to move forward. Trustee Malauulu?
May I address Dr. Mike Munoz, please? Dr. Munoz, is, gosh, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. Is it Shannon? Is Shannon available? Was she supposed to be here tonight? Because I would love to have, because Shannon is not bound by the same rules that we are with the Brown Act and the closed session, but she was the person that the board hired to do the mediation and facilitate that. I would love to have her be here and be present and observe what just happened, because it was my understanding that we had reached an agreement at the last meeting, and that agreement hasn't happened. In fact, there was a complete pivot in the opposite direction tonight. So Shannon, who the board, not one person, the board hired and paid to lead us through a series of mediation services for professional mediation, there had been an agreement made, and that agreement was not upheld tonight. So I would like Shannon to come in and address for the benefit of the public, because this is
So I hear you, and I appreciate your comments. With that said, Shannon had a personal conflict that she disclosed in advance, was not able to attend today. At the same time, I would also note that even though she's not an elected official, she is a licensed mediator and kind of operates under these guidelines of confidentiality. So I make an assumption here, but I highly suspect that she would not be in a position to speak openly about anything that occurred during a mediation session, is that she's licensed and probably bound by those guidelines. That would be my strong suspicion.
all right. So we thank you, Dr. Munoz. So I just really feel like me personally, because I can't speak for anybody else on this dais, and I can't speak for any of you out there or anybody tuning in. And I personally feel like I've just been, I don't know the correct way to say this. Is it gaslit? I just feel like I've just been bamboozled. And I'm very disappointed, because I really thought that after all the hours that we spent in mediation, I really thought that we were here for the reconciliation, the closure, and the moving on. But apparently, it's just going to be like the hamster spinning in the same wheel over and over, where this will never end. This will never end. The personal ownership, the personal responsibility, we all get it just will never end. So until the next circumstance, until the next outburst, until the next mediation, until the next promise, empty promise with no intention of fulfilling it, I guess we'll be revisiting this again.
There's been a motion and a second, so there is a motion on the floor per Robert's Rules of Order that we should take some action. We can retract the motion and second and move on from the item. We can take a substitute motion on the item. We can vote down the item and move forward. You were the maker of the motion with a second by Dr. Morton.
Whatever it would be the appropriate course if I retract my motion, if I rescind the motion, or if I just vote no on the motion, but that was not what the agreement was. So I will not vote on something that the board had already agreed to do. That is not happening right now. So am I able to rescind the motion?
You can rescind the motion as the maker of the motion.
I rescind the motion.
Take it back.
There will be no moving on.
The motion and second have been rescinded, so no action on the resolution as it's drafted. Maybe one thing I can put forward, part of the resolution was the conclusion of the disciplinary reprimand that had restrictions on paid travel and board officer roles and going to chicken dinners and so forth. I don't know if part of what we talked about is like, where is the personal accountability? And we're at a place right now of do nothing. And is do nothing the option that we want to walk away tonight after probably 6 months worth of work to get here tonight? And I don't know if anybody would entertain amending the motion that it doesn't end December 31st, 2025. Maybe we make it one more year. But just to have some action tonight to try to conclude these series of complaints.
Are we able to make that motion? Is it on the agenda for the extension?
Yeah, you can adopt the resolution with an amendment to the very last line there. The second, it further be resolved, ending her disciplinary reprimand effective December 31st, 2025. If you want to amend that to December 31st, 2026, that is an allowable option.
When we get to that item, or now?
This is the only time on the agenda tonight that we are going to address this item.
Okay, then I would like to amend that motion and extend it one more year and look forward to wasting more time and more empty promises and more mediation and more ridiculousness, because apparently this board is just not ready to move on, unfortunately. So yes, I would like to make a motion to extend that by another year and see where we are a year from now.
So there's a motion on the floor to adopt the resolution with an amendment to the year, and the third, therefore, be resolved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the item? Dr. Baxter?
Yeah. I'm not going to vote in favor of this because I voted against the other two. I believe this is a personality situation, and I know that what has happened has not been nice. It hasn't been polite, but I don't think it's equivalent to a censure.
Just to clarify, the censure is not for consideration tonight, or that was not the motion.
So what are you going to do for a year?
It is.
Part of the last censure was a disciplinary reprimand where there were privileges taken away for a 3-year time period that was scheduled to end at the end of this month.
That's not the censure.
It's the reprimand portion of it. Yeah. It's basically, you're losing your recess if you were a kid at school. Trustee Zia?
I'd like to apologize to the members of the public for the conduct of some of the members of this board. You're the ones who are owed an apology for personal politics and sound bites and getting points. You didn't elect us for this type of frivolity. If the resolution did not have falsehoods, I would have gladly done my part. Mr. Intuk has not taken responsibility for his portion as the mediator, and I and him agreed to. And that is why I cannot, in good faith, vote for something that has falsehoods and is asymmetrical and is designed to embarrass me politically and harm me. I won't. And I won't apologize for things I did not say or do, as I said earlier. You're the ones who are owed an apology for wasting your time with this frivolity. And I'm sorry to you, members of the public. My focus is you and students, period.
All right. I'll just, in closing here, say the resolution captures the complaints as submitted in the documents that were sent over by the different trustees over the last 12 months. So, and they were actually very much watered down. And again, no complaints were filed against me. I haven't done nothing wrong. I have not proactively asked for this. And ironically, I'm the one that's harassed and criticized. And I feel bad for the public who came out and stood at this podium tonight and other times, because I made that same mistake 10 years ago. I came to that very podium and defended Trustee Zia when she claimed she was being harassed and bullied by the former trustees, which I found out later not to be true. And it's unfortunate this pattern happens. I've been deceived before. I don't think the people who spoke earlier have the full information. And it's unfortunate that I'm being asked to accept responsibility for someone else's misconduct. I did not do anything to deserve this, and it's a very unfortunate situation. But I am supportive of the amended resolution, and I think we should move on from this item. So Secretary Reese will take a roll call vote, please.
Student trustee Leotawa,
Abstain.
Virginia Baxter,
No.
Annette Morton,
Aye.
Vivian Malauulu,
Aye.
Uduak-Joe Ntuk, Sunny Zia.
Nay.
The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Moving now on to executive summary of legislation and policy update 7.3. We do have a receive and file and a December monthly legislative report attached. I don't believe there's any discussion on it. It's receive and file, so there's an attached document there. We're now moving to item 7.4, reports of the Board of Trustees. Each trustee has 5 minutes to give a report. And if the board will allow, I'd like to go first, and I'm going to defer my 5 minutes to our students who are here from the National Society of Black Engineers, NSBE, to give a brief presentation on their recent conference and travel. And so I know Dario has the slides, if we can put them up for them, and ask if you can come to the podium.
Good evening to the Board of Trustees, President Untuck, Dr. Munoz, and all of you all. We really appreciate you all having us tonight. You so graciously helped us to travel to Oakland this past month for the Fall Regional Conference with the National Society of Black Engineers. And we just wanted to show you how successful that conference was and, show you how much of an impact this has had on us so far. So without further ado, introduce NSBE as an organization. The National Society of Black Engineers is committed to supporting Black engineers in advocacy, education, career advancement, facilitating Black excellence, Black community empowerment and advancement through STEM, with a mission statement of increasing the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community. Oh, and excuse me, my name is Victoria. I am a future chemical engineer studying here at Long Beach City College, soon to be transferring, and I am the president of our chapter here at Long Beach City College. So into a look at our first couple of semesters establishing NSBE at Long Beach City College. The 2024 and 2025 year saw a lot of growth. We were able to have some speaking panels and events just to kind of get us all together, get some support and rally some recruitment. And this year we've done so much better. We've had a lot of amazing engagement, and we thought it would be a lovely opportunity to travel to the Fall Regional Conference and have this opportunity to really help establish ourselves. We've done a lot of networking with other NSBE chapters locally with Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Northridge, UCLA, UCI. It's just been an amazing experience so far. And to talk more about how the Fall Regional Conference went, I'm going to introduce my Vice President, Jaden. He's going to tell you a little bit more.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Jaden Jones. I am serving as the Vice President for the National Society of Black Engineers. To echo the president, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity you provided for us by supporting our journey to the Fall Regional Conference. Our goals were to create long-lasting connections in our field, become well-versed in our interviewing and resume-building skills, and overall develop a more defined sense of our future as a result of this conference. I believe that we were able to not only achieve these goals, but exceed them, as all of our members were able to foster over 40-plus connections with me personally, connecting with over 70-plus members and professionals. A few of our members were also able to secure interviews and internships with some of the companies attending this conference, which will certainly be beneficial for their individual futures in the field. We were also fortunate to be able to attend many of the workshops as well, including an academic tech bowl in which Prince and I were able to place top 4 out of the 12 teams allowed. We also were able to attend several resume workshops, business creation workshops, and networking workshops. Overall, I am certain that the experiences and connections that we received will prove invaluable for the impact we intend on making on behalf of Long Beach City College in the world of engineering. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jaden. So as you can see, we've got a bunch of pictures here. Just wanted to show you all of the amazing things we were able to do. We attended the Black Panther Museum, which was also in Oakland, California. This was us connecting with Cal Poly Pomona's chapter. We worked very closely with them, made a lot of great connections with them. We got a tour of the Salesforce Corporation Tower in San Francisco. We just got so many amazing opportunities to network, build ourselves, learn more about the engineering fields we aspire to. Yeah, it's just more pictures. Yeah, great. So these were some of our major successes. Like Jaden said, we got at least 30 LinkedIn connections for each of our members. We obtained 3 internship opportunities with 1 solidified, 1 contract. We positioned NSBE LVCC as an active, visible chapter in the region. That was super important to us in building durable professional relationships, long-term membership engagement, and really connecting with the broader NSBE community. I also wanted to show you some of our sister clubs. We also have the Society of Hispanic Engineers. They also went on a conference this year. The Society of Women Engineers also went on a very successful conference. And then the Engineering Club successes, I wanted to bring on one of my other engineering students who would also like to talk about their clubs and how well they've been doing this year.
Yes, hello. My name is Gonzalo Santana. I'm the VP of the Engineering Club, also VP of SHIP, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers. And we also went to an event. So we had gone to Philadelphia for a SHIP National Conference. And what I learned from there was employers are looking for something very specific. They're not really looking for anything like a specific major or really what school students come from. But what they are looking for are student projects, what students are doing in their free time, and also what are they actually learning. And also their leadership skills, where are students performing, where are students leading, and how much could they grow from there. And these are things that the Engineering Club and the sister clubs like SHIP, SWEET, NSBE are trying to promote. So we are looking to encourage students to grow as students, be able to learn more, and to be able to speak up for themselves. Really, where I am right now, if you ask me where I would be 5 years from now, I would say I would not be speaking in front of you guys. But being with the Engineering Club, also with SHIP, I was able to learn more and grow enough to be confident with myself and to be able to speak in front of all of you. We have been growing a lot over the past few years with our great President Canny. And if we do want to continue this growth and this momentum, we do need your support. Thank you.
Yeah, so to close this off, again, thank you so much for all of your support. Can you go back a second? Yeah, looking ahead at the future of LBCC engineering, because of course we want to continue to have a very successful, close out the school year strong. Looking ahead, we have the National Society of Black Engineers is also having a national conference in Baltimore, Maryland. We would really love to explore the opportunity of us attending that event as well. Like Gus mentioned, we really would love the opportunity to explore the possibility of engineering students here at Long Beach City College being able to expand our projects and our reach and the tasks that we're able to take on. These conferences this year put us all in a really unique position to strengthen our connections, to establish ourselves, and help us solidify our desire to pursue our passions. It was all of these conferences were transformative opportunities to expand our minds and look forward to what we hope is just the beginning of what NSBE, LBCC, and the other engineering clubs can do on this campus. We, the students, we spend long nights working together to master some of the most difficult disciplines of study, requiring us to have mastery in several areas of innovation, such as programming, mechanical design, and put us at the forefront of future technological innovation. And we look forward to the possibility of having a workspace that is designated for engineering students, to have some home base for engineering project studying and honing our technical skills, while TTC is developing beautifully and providing a much-needed opportunity for trade students to gain experience with many hands-on skills. The engineering-designated classes are only held on this campus, and we as a student body find ourselves underrepresented and looking for a place to go. But thank you so much for this opportunity, and we look forward to the future of what we can do with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to say thank you for your collaborative leadership and inclusion and sharing. I did see your proposal request for support for the conference, and it was you did an outstanding job as a group submitting that and the request, and I'm happy that Dr. Munoz and the college was able to support it. So thank you again, and thank you for sharing with us tonight. And also thank you to Dr. Charles Bohannon, the faculty advisor, for helping lead the effort. We'll go now to Jenny Baxter for her board report.
Good evening. Here is the schedule that I have observed between last board meeting and this board meeting. On November 13th, I attended the Todd Cancer Institute meeting. On the 14th, we had a Helping Homeless Students meeting. On the 17th, AAUW board meeting. On the 18th, I attended a conference at USC talking about the future of democracy, and was very interesting. The keynote speaker was Senator Richard Gebhardt, who I was probably the only person in the room knew who he was, because he's got to be ancient. But anyway, he was a minority whip in the Senate 25 years ago. And he gave a wonderful, encouraging talk. about transparency and about ethics and about you should not lie, because if you lie once, no one will ever believe you again. And it was a real inspiration to me. I went up and told him, I didn't ask to have my picture taken, so I'll live another day. On the 19th, I went to the Building E groundbreaking. It's an exciting time because I was at the first groundbreaking in 1972, and so it's exciting to see the new building coming up. It bothers me when we tear down buildings, but I understand we have to do that. Also on the 19th, we had Rotary Scholarship Day, at which we had 50 Rotary Scholarship recipients, both from Long Beach City College and from Cal State Long Beach, and they were given a talk by, now of course I've forgotten his name, who's in charge of Long Beach College Promise, Elijah, thank you, Elijah Sims. And then also Lupe Pacias, who talked about Long Beach City College programs, and then Dr. Beth Lesson, who's the Vice President of Student Services, talked about Cal State Long Beach. And so it was very good discussion, panel discussion, led by Lance Kenyon, who received a Rotary Scholarship at Long Beach City College and at Cal State Long Beach probably 30 years ago, and he was the moderator. Anyway, then on the 20th, I left and went to the CCLC conference, where I attended a Brown Act workshop and also the basic needs, and they produced this beautiful brochure. And what's interesting is they sent out a survey to the participating colleges, and there were 107 colleges that RSVP'd, and they asked for responses about the student needs. Long Beach City College was #1 with 3,497, and I don't want to read the others because it'd be embarrassing, because some respondents say it was like less than 100. But anyway, we are obviously on the right road to basic needs and doing a great job. And I got to go to page 2. I also attended, that's the same page, got to go to the next page. Anyway, also attended a seminar on conflict resolution, which talked about fostering respect on the board issues, and then a whole session on that, and then the last one, there we go. The last one, on the last one, I attended a Zoom meeting for the Helping Homeless Students, and so I did not go to that session. Then on the, can't read my handwriting, on the 29th, I attended AAUW brunch of past presidents, and then on December 2nd, I went to the Cameo X Chairs holiday party, go to a lot of parties. Then on the 3rd, the LBCC holiday party, which was just beautiful, and it's wonderful to come on campus and see everybody happy and getting along and everything going very, very well. And that was a great party from 4 to 6. And then on December 3rd, I went to, what am I reading here? Oh, that was a holiday party. I said twice. Then on December 4th, I attended an AARLL employment tips presentation, and this was so interesting because lots of times I don't understand why the personnel office does what they do, or human resources does what they do, but they gave it, oops, boy, okay, well, I'm gonna have to quit. Oh, wait, last thing, can I have a minute, please? Yes. Thank you. Then Thursday night, last Thursday night, I attended a book publishing seminar presented in the LA City Council chambers, and it was absolutely beautiful. Never been there before. Gorgeous marble, gorgeous pillars, everything. Anyway, they talked about an upcoming book about Latino political power. It was so interesting. They had 10 people speak, but the one who was the most impressive was Dolores Huerta, who is 95 years old and so sharp. She got up and spoke on She was the co-founder of the United Farm Workers with Cesar Chavez, and just her work in getting people organized and striking, and just very, very much of an inspiration. And the whole evening was wonderful. Dr. Munoz and I went together. He's my driver at night, and was hundreds of people in the audience, and just a wonderful, wonderful presentation. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Baxter. We'll go to Dr. Morton.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. During the month of November, I had the opportunity to attend several events similar to some of the ones that my colleagues have attended, but I started off with the Audit Subcommittee, which will hear a formal presentation from them later this evening. The Building E groundbreaking ceremony was wonderful to see the celebration and the start of the construction on Building E, the new college center, which will be a transformative project to serve as the heart of our student life on the liberal arts campus. That same day, I attended the International Cultural Festival and had the opportunity to address the students and the crowd that attended. This annual event featured live performances, international cuisine, cultural booths, and activities hosted by the LBCC International Student Club, as well as the sister cities of Long Beach. It was really a vibrant celebration of global diversity and many contributors of our international students. I also participated in the food distribution, which was a very humbling experience and very supportive to see the community come out and support everyone who was in need that day. So I was glad that I had the opportunity to participate with that event. I too attended the book launch that was held at City Hall for the book named Forging Latino Power, The Politics of Inclusion, Backlash, and Resistance, which it built on the author's first book, which was Power Shift, and continues their examination of Latino political empowerment. Dolores Huerta, it can't be highlighted enough, her energy and efforts and participation to this day is stellar. It's just very impressive, and she's a very impressive advocate for Latino power. I participated in the Belmont Shore Christmas Parade. I had the opportunity to be a judge for the parade for the first time. And this year's theme was the community pajama party. So they were aiming to break the Guinness Book of World Records of most people attending a parade in pajamas. And they had 15,736 participants, which would break the record if the Guinness Book of World Records would recognize it. So that's still out for consideration. Last night I had the honor of attending the Fall Nursing Pinning Ceremony, which is one of my favorite events to attend. I love commencement as well as the pinning ceremony, just to see the transformative power that these nursing students have over their lives after completing this program. We had 22 vocational nursing graduates and 25 associate degree nursing graduates. So congratulations to every one of them and their families. I know that you're going to do just wonderful in everything that you do from here on. And I just want to close by saying that as we close out 2025, I want to extend my warmest holiday wishes to all of our incredible LBCC community. To our students, thank you for your resilience, your curiosity, and determination. I encourage you to finish this year strong. To our faculty and administrators, thank you for your unwavering commitment and leadership throughout the year. This season is a time to reflect on our accomplishments, celebrate our progress, and look ahead with optimism. I am truly inspired by the passion and purpose of each of you bring to LBCC, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to serve alongside such a dedicated community. So I wish you all a joyful holiday season, bright, fulfilling new year, and continued growth in the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you. It's okay to clap. Okay, Trustee Zia.
Yes, Daria, can you please bring the pictures up? Can you not start the clock until? So another successful, beautiful lunch session at the Culinary Arts for the last week of the semester, and our Chief Executive Officer, who just retired, Mario Cordero, was also there. I want to thank Chef Haley, of course, for her leadership. And then the team members you see over there, Quinn Marchio, Anna Jimenez, Angie Para, and Daquan Baker, who's on the far left, if you're on that side. Okay, so next picture. I want to also mention that at the bistro, it was such a delight to see our Justice Scholars Program students there having lunch with Dr. Munoz. I am so proud to have supported the launching of our Justice Scholars Program and having had a hand in leading that effort, and seeing these students really warmed my heart. And then on that note, let's go to the next picture. I'm going to spotlight this young gentleman, Jimmy Jaime Cuevas, and I asked Jimmy to tell me a little bit about himself and how he ended up in Long Beach City College, and a little bit about his story. So this is in his own first person submission to me. He said, "I will talk about what drove me to LBCC. After coming home serving 36 years in the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, I was repeating institutionalized behavior. I would go to work, home, repeat. I was free yet not having freedom. Going to school is my way to having my independence. Long Beach City College has been a safe space for me. As a kid living down the street to escape the ugliness at home, LBCC became my getaway. Thrifties on Carson with a nickel dime 15-cent ice cream scoop made it easy to go to LBCC. I leaped into registration February 2025. Didn't know how to use technology. I knew I had a good mind. As I was registering, there was a question I had no idea how to answer, because I understood it as a question for and about prison. I asked for help, and the one that came to help had been involved with Justice Scholars. They asked me if I was formerly incarcerated, that I should go to the office, become part of the program. Flash forward to yesterday, and here we are, 2 semesters in 2 to go, then Cal State Long Beach. I hope that those who come behind me get to experience higher education with your advocacy. He also went on to say that his path to higher education was not a straight line. It was forged in the unlikeliest of places and born from the most profound challenges. His decision to major in human services with a concentration in addiction studies is not merely an academic choice, but a direct continuation of a lifelong journey toward redemption and purpose. Having navigated the depths of addiction and the complexities of the correctional system, he is driven now to become a certified addiction counselor, using his experience not as a shadow from the past, but as a light to guide others toward their own healing. The catalyst for this decision occurred during his 35 years of incarceration. I repeat, 35 years of incarceration. Within the walls of a California prison, he enrolled in programs for substance abuse disorder treatment, anger management, and criminal thinking. Initially, these classes were about his own survival, a way to gain the tools and understanding he needed to overcome the personal demons that had defined his life. However, a remarkable transformation began to take place. As he healed, he found he could help others to do the same. He remembers sitting in group sessions, listening to men sharing their stories of pain and confusion that mirrored his own. He found he could speak to them from a place of shared understanding, helping them identify the causative factors behind their addictions and articulate their feelings from a place of nascent healing rather than despair. In one instance, helping a young man reframe his narrative from one of shame to one of resilience, he saw a flicker of hope in his eyes he had once thought impossible. That moment solidified his purpose. His lived experience was not a liability, it was his greatest asset, and he knew then that he needed a formal education to turn this calling into a profession. This major aligns perfectly with his core values and long-term goals, as its heart, his value system is built on empathy, service, and the unwavering belief that every person deserves a chance at redemption. As a counselor, he can live these values daily. His empathy is not theoretical, it is etched into his own story. When he sits across from someone battling addiction, they will know he understands the struggle in a way that cannot be learned from a book. His long-term vision extends beyond individual counseling. After being released in 2023, he has become deeply committed to creating a society with fewer prisons, something I share. By becoming an effective counselor, he can address one of the primary roots of incarceration, untreated addiction and mental health issues. Helping one person find stability and recovery is a victory in itself. Helping many can create a ripple effect that strengthens families, heals communities, and ultimately reduces the reliance on a correctional system that too often fails to rehabilitate. What excites him the most about the field of human services is the opportunity to blend his practical, hard-won knowledge with evidence-based academic frameworks. He's eager to dive into coursework on the psychology of addiction, trauma-informed care, and the principles of cognitive behavioral therapy. These studies will provide the theoretical scaffolding for his life experiences, allowing him to understand the why behind the methods that he has already seen work. Gaining this formal knowledge through Long Beach City College will be critical for his professional growth, equipping him with credentials, ethical guidelines, and proven techniques necessary to be an effective and trusted counselor. It will transform his raw ability to connect with people into a refined professional skill set. The educational journey is also essential for his continued personal growth. Pursuing a degree represents the ultimate act of rewriting his own story from inmate to student. From a cautionary tale to a source of hope, it will challenge him to remain open-minded, to learn from professors and peers, and to develop a deeper understanding of the systematic issues that affect the population he wishes to serve. By formally studying this field, he has not just been preparing for a career, he's committing to a lifetime of learning and self-improvement, ensuring he can offer the very best of himself to those who have lost their way. His past has given him a unique foundation, and this degree will give him the tools to build a future for himself and for the countless others he is determined to help. On a personal note, I have to say, the first time I heard about education in the Prison Institute was the BARD Prison Initiative. And that was the spark that helped start the Justice Scholars Program when I talked to the superintendent at the time. And that was the genesis. And I'm so grateful and thankful that we have an institution that supports restorative justice through our curriculum and supporting our students versus retributive justice. And this is a testament and an example of success of what we can do if we invest in our students and those who need a second chance. Jimmy, I honor you, I value you, and I look forward to seeing you pay it forward and help others. And please keep it going. This Justice Scholar Program is a very important program, one I hope to see grow. Thank you. That concludes my report.
We'll go to Trustee Malulu next.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's been a really busy month since our last board meeting. I have a series of photos, Dario. I don't know if they're going to populate in order or not, so I'm sorry for that. On November 14th, I attended the Long Beach Chamber Small Business Association Chamber lunch. That's not the photo, but that's okay. I don't think I sent you one for that. And that was all area Chamber of Commerce and Small Businesses. On November 19th, I attended the Building E groundbreaking. And then the photos that you see here, shortly after, I drove over to Covina for the Sheet Metal Workers 105. It was, in essence, a career day, and I was invited to come speak about being a college trustee. And there's a couple of pictures there, Dario, I think 2 or 3 that I sent you. This gentleman you've seen here at LBCC, he is a new area business agent from Fresno to Mexico and Nevada to the coast, I believe is his jurisdiction. And he was here when we broke ground, when we cut the ribbon on the Labor Center and our 1-year anniversary. His name is Laisene Malaulu. He's my husband's cousin, but he's really involved in Sheet Metal Workers 105. He was an instructor, and I was really happy to run into him that day. It was kind of cool. I'm like, hey, I know that guy. The next photo, as you'll see, this is a group of students there at Sheet Metal 105, and their interest in Long Beach City College. I think there's 3 or 4 in the picture who are in our district. And then I drove back to LBCC for the Culture Fest that day, the International Students Cultural Fest. On November 21st, I was also at the food drive. I think I did send some photos for that with my colleagues, Trustee Untuck and Trustee Morton, and some of our students there. We were able to distribute food. Thank you to everyone who contributed to that event. And then we went over to the Trade Tech campus, where we received the second donation from, let me make sure I get it right. It's the Shared Energy Future Foundation, who supported the Labor Center. This is the second year in a row. I don't have a photo of that, but we were there and we accepted a second donation from them, which is really neat because what that foundation does is it supports our students in the Labor Center taking classes who need PPE, which is personal protective equipment, steel toes, hard hats, safety vests. So thank you, and the Shared Energy Futures Foundation for the generosity. On November 23rd, I was at the Landmark Theater, and I sent you that photo really late where we're in a theater. There's a gentleman holding flowers. If you happen to get that, sorry, I sent it to you late. The reason why I sent it is because Aaron Moore, former president of the Long Beach City College Foundation, was there, and it's just neat to see Vikings and foundation members in the community at non-traditional events. So this was a Sunday evening. I was there at the theater with my family, and to see a former LBCC Foundation president was pretty cool. On December 3rd, in the morning, I attended the last ASU EDD cohort of the semester, and I also attended the LBCC holiday party and the City of Long Beach tree lighting event. So it was a busy day that day. On the 4th, go ahead, Dario, the 2 photos. So this was in the morning in downtown LA. I attended a Latinas Lead event. I can't say everybody's name in there because I don't know everybody's name, but if you recognize them, that's great. I know like 2 people's names. I'm terrible with names, you know that. But this was in the morning at a Latinas Lead event for Latina leadership, and then came home, and then I drove back to downtown LA for the Hope, they call it the Mexican prom, but it's the Hope Gala every year for Hispanas organized for political equality, and that was a great event. You'll see a couple of community members, Long Beach Unified School Board member there to my left. On the 5th, I attended, oh man, my colleagues have exceeded the time today, so I think we're giving grace. One colleague went 9 minutes. On December 5th, 10 minutes, sorry. On December 5th, I was at the Chamber State of the Business event, and you could show that photo. That's the one with my daughter there. That's my youngest daughter, Tessa, and the reason why I want to share this event with you all is because the City of Long Beach is doing incredible things with athletics, and the theme of this year's State of Business was sports in Long Beach. If you're not following, please get with that, because we're talking about way more than LA 28, the Olympics. We're talking about bringing professional teams to Long Beach, Long Beach City College was discussed frequently, our student athletes, those entering the transfer portal, going on to universities to play. So it was a fantastic event, and I was very proud to represent LBCC there at that event. On the 6th, I was at the Belmont Shore parade, and I think there's a photo there. That's, again, my poor daughter. She's home for the holidays, so she's been going with me to all these events. She's probably tapping out. That's Tessa on the left. That's my niece who plays softball here at Long Beach City College, Rhiannon Popoali'i, and then there's my mom there. We were at the Belmont Shore Parade. On the 7th, I was so happy to represent at the Tamale Festival. Dario, did you get those? So that's just me, but if you look at the next one, you'll see we tabled that event, and I was so proud to be out in the community. We've hosted the Tamale Festival here on campus for 4 years. This was at the Scottish Rite Center, which is where it started, and we had it there to keep our community safe from all the things that are happening. So it was a way to keep the community enclosed with a gate and a fence. And last night I was at, and then I was at a North Long Beach party that evening. Last night I was also at the nurse pinning ceremony. And Dario, did I send you any other pictures? I can't remember. Okay, so this is at the North Long Beach holiday party by one of the leaders in North Long Beach. And was there another one, or is that it? Oh, there he is. Okay, so there's Aaron Moore, former LBCC Foundation president. He's not the gentleman holding the flowers. The gentleman holding the flowers was actually the director of the Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette musical, which is fantastic. I've seen it twice. Any other photos that I sent you? And there's, again, North Long Beach neighborhood party. And is that it? Okay. So we can turn off the photos. I just want to close by saying congratulations to everyone for making it through the end of the semester. I want to wish you all very happy holidays. And I want to share with you that I am finally ABD. If you know what ABD means, I am ABD. I am finished with my coursework. I am finished with my research. I am done with everything. I am all but dissertation. So for the next few months, I'm going to take all my research that I conducted this semester. I'm going to put it together into the 5 chapters of my dissertation. So it's been a very busy time. So for everyone here, you can do it. If I can do it with a job and kids and family and community, you can do it too. Happy holidays to all of you. And yes, I still have a 4.0. So boom, I'm telling you, use me as your motivation, because I don't sleep. So that's my only problem. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays.
That's 12 minutes. Really? Thank you so much. All right, that concludes our Board of Trustee reports. We're moving to presentation section. Get ready. We do have our annual audit, a Measure E, Measure LB, and AC, and our performance audits. I'm going to ask our Director of Fiscal Services, John Thompson, and our CPA from CWDL, John Dominguez, to come to the podium to give a presentation. John?
All right, thank you, Board President Intuck, trustees, and administrators and guests. As you mentioned, every year we are required to have a district-wide audit, and with our bond programs, a financial audit and a performance audit. And we have with us, as you mentioned, from audit firm CWDL to present the highlights of those audits, which are attached further on in the agenda. This is audit partner John Dominguez.
Thank you very much. On behalf of CWDL, happy to be here this evening. We had a chance on the 17th of November to go through the full audit of the district, as well as the financial and performance reports for the bonds with the audit committee, and went into some great detail, had some really engaging discussions there. I'll spare you some of those details and the length of that for purposes of this meeting, but we had really good results. So we'll share just an overview of some of those, and I'll be happy to answer any questions about those results or our procedures. And just to confirm, the services and deliverables here, just summarizing that we do perform the district's annual audit where we're rendering our opinion on the accuracy of the financial data, as well as the district's compliance with federal and state procedures. And then that financial and performance audit on Measure E, LB, and Measure AC is included as well. We did render an unmodified opinion on the district financials. That essentially means we felt that they were accurate, they were complete, agreed to reports that were generated by the district's financial system, also agreed to those that were submitted to the state chancellor's office. So good results there on the accuracy and the completeness of the financial data. We went through, as I said, in detail with the audit committee, kind of covering the MD&A, some comparative analysis to prior years. We went through the basic financial statements covering net position, the changes in net position, cash flows, the district's OPEB trust activity. Walk through again the notes in some detail, some of the required supplementary information, and then all of that kind of concluding with a summary of our auditor's results on those other opinions as well. And so I will note we did not identify instances of non-compliance, both in federal and state procedures. So really, really positive results there. And would just maybe point out that we did expand our federal testing as part of that collaborative approach with the audit committee. We went out and sought out some areas that maybe we don't test every year. So Student Financial Aid Cluster, just given its size, is obviously required. But that Small Business Development Center, we did test that program that doesn't often get picked up and had really, really good results. No instances of noncompliance, very strong procedures and controls around that. So we were pleased to see that. Just a very brief highlight of some of the financial information. And again, this is on the full accrual basis of accounting. So this has all the long-term items in nature, the capital assets, the long-term debt. But that net position ended the year at $34 million. The capital assets increased to $592 million, and also an increase in the receivables. And on the liability side, we saw a decrease in the long-term liabilities. And I would just highlight two of those in the table. The net OPEB liability, we saw a decrease of $11.8 million. And then net pension liability as well. We saw that come down from the prior year, $6.2 million. Very, very good results, positive trends. An item of discussion that we again went into in some great detail with the committee was just on the pensions and some of their volatility. And so this column just represents in the middle there where the PERS and STIR systems currently stand as far as the district's proportionate share of those liabilities. We just mentioned that those had gone down from prior year. They had really, really good investment results. I actually just checked their most recent data, and they're seeing greater than 11% return where they had actuarially projected the 7.1 and 6.9%. So we'd expect in the near term to see those liabilities again continue to decrease. And again, this is just a district taking its proportionate share of those state level systems. And then a new standard that came out this year was GASB Statement 101. This did require the district to go obtain an additional actuarial report on its leave balances. And so they took a little deeper look at not only the vacation leave, but also other sources of leave, sick leave, other sources of employee leave. And that did result in an adjustment and increase to the liability of the $32 million there we see in the summary from note 16. And again, this was just simply the district implementing a new GASB standard that's requiring an increased emphasis on the leave. And then finally, we have some good news. At that November 17th meeting, the federal government was delayed in its release of the compliance supplement. So we had done our work throughout the year. The district had done its significant work throughout the year, but we were not able to finalize that report as of that meeting date. And about a week later, we did get the good news that that compliance supplement was released. We were able to immediately jump in and confirm that our results stood as we had projected. And so you now have final reports before you as opposed to final drafts, which was a possibility. So just want to bring that up as that was a discussion. And then finally, on the Measure E, did not have any expenditures. There is still remaining authorization, so we do include that as long as that remains. And then Measure LB and Measure AC had the expenditures that we analyzed for the year, and our conclusions were that all of the bond expenditures were allowable, were approved, and met the requirements of the Proposition 39 bond audit. So very good results. Happy to answer any questions about procedures or anything related to those audits.
Thank you, John. Any discussion from the board? I just would note that this is, item 13.3 will be the actual adoption of the audited report. So this is a pre-presentation for an upcoming vote. So they have some additional detail before we get there where there's a lot of content. Any other comments or questions from trustees? We'll go Trustee Zia.
Hi. First of all, welcome. I think this is your first time that I've seen you present, or maybe I'm.
It's been a few years, but I'm back again.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I'm sorry if I'm not recalling. There's a mention of the Measure AC. Is it $2024 that were audited, or is that, am I misunderstanding? Because in the preamble to the presentation in the fourth section, okay, so it's only $1 million.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
What's the prospective dollars that are impending for review for the upcoming year?
I might defer to management to see. We're always kind of, looking at actuals, what has occurred after the fact. So I may defer to John for that.
Yes, Trustee Zia, in September, we issued bonds and 50 million of Measure AC was issued. So in next year's audit report, we'll see some of the expenditures from that 50 million.
Okay, so it's a portion of the 50 million, and then the 1 million is
was election costs that are an expense that occurred as you know, from November of 24, and we get billed later in last fiscal year, even before we had issued bonds at that time.
Okay, thank you for elucidating that and clarifying, because I wasn't sure since we haven't really plowed the thicket yet on Measure AC. Okay.
You're exactly right. It's just the election costs we incurred for that.
Perfect, thank you.
And then I'll just add to that, in the detailed report, that does show as a due to general fund. So the general fund, had initially essentially advanced that, but related specifically to Measure AC. So.
Okay, great job. Thank you.
Any more questions? I know Dr. Morton and I were part of the audit committee and got to go in great detail on this. I guess one question I'll ask, on the OPEB reduction of 11 million, any reason why it went down so much? Was it investment related, or is it, I think one slide back there, the net OPEB liability?
A combination of things, and our actuary does a report every year for that as well. And we were able to contribute an additional $7 million into the irrevocable trust, which goes against that liability. The liability is around 34 million, but we now have 19 million in the irrevocable trust that's set aside for employee post retirement benefits. And also there were some actuarial changes, investment earnings, and other things in the actuarial report that brought that down.
And the last question for our students, what does OPEB stand for?
Post-employment benefits other than pensions.
Thank you. I know it'll be on the final next week, everybody, so be ready. All right, well, thank you so much for the presentation.
My pleasure.
You guys have a great evening. We're going to move on to Section 9, Consent Agenda. This is where a group of items will be adopted with one vote. There's also opportunity if any items can be removed to be voted on individually by a member of the board. Any trustees have a request to pull any items from the consent agenda? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go to 9.4. This is approval of the consent agenda. It's an action item that will need a motion and second to advance.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Morton. Was it second by Trustee Malulu? Or student trustee? Student trustee Leitao. Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. Is it because contracts though, huh? Yeah. Is it contract limitation, Michelle?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Trustee Malulu. Yeah, I think because of the contracts embedded in there, the student trustee doesn't get to vote on it. Okay, so we have a motion by Vice President Morton, second by Trustee Malulu. Any discussion on the consent agenda as submitted? Seeing and hearing none, we will do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the consent agenda is adopted. Moving to section, let me make sure, yeah, section 10. 10.1 is employment contracts. I'll read this out. We have 6 employment contracts to approve tonight. First is Bradley Adamson, Director of Aquatics, for a term of 2026 to 2028, a salary $124,933 a year for the Director of Aquatics. Justin Mendez, Director of Basic Needs and CASA Grant, term of 2026 through 2028, the salary $142,008. Deborah Miller Calvert, Dean of Student Affairs, a term of 2026 to 2028 for a salary of $213,257. Javier Villasenor, Dean, Counseling and Student Support Services, a term of 2026 to 2028, a salary of $213,257. Marcus Cooper, Director of Football Operations, Head Coach, a term of 2025 through 2027 at $113,317 annually. Ginger L. Wilkerson, Interim Director of Psychological Services, for a term of 2026 to 2027 at a salary of $155,911. We do denote 2 new hires to the position, both Marcus Cooper and Ginger L. Wilkerson. This is an action item, need 1 motion and second to adopt the employment contracts.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Malulu, second by Dr. Baxter. Any discussion on the employment contracts? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go to a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the employment contracts are adopted. Moving to, we did 10 point, oh yeah, okay, we're moving to, we did 10.2, so we're moving to 10.3. We did that already. So 10.3 is the district's initial bargaining proposal. So 10.12 was LBCCFA's proposal. So this is what the district is countering. It's for the full contract renewal under Government Code Section 3547, requires that all proposals of exclusive representation in the district be presented at a public meeting of the Board of Trustees. The current master agreement 2023 through 2026 between Long Beach Community College District and the Long Beach City College Faculty Association expires on June 30th, 2026. Accordingly, the district proposes to open negotiations with LBCCFA on Article 9, Faculty Evaluation, Article 10, Hours of Employment Service Load, Article 12, Department Heads, and a new article to be statutory updates of the law. So in accordance with Administrative Regulation 2003.3, the public will be given no less than 14 calendar days to review the proposal. As a result, the hearing for providing the public the opportunity to express itself on the LBCCFA initial proposal will be held at the Board of Trustees meeting on January 21st, 2024, which at that time will appear on the agenda for board adoption. This is not an action item. This is an informational item that we call sunshining to let people know what's going on. Next, we're going to 10.4, which is exempt salary schedule effective January 1st, 2026. This is a change to be compliant with the minimum wage law of California, which increases from $16.50 per hour to $16.90 per hour. Therefore, the revision to the exempt salary schedule reflects the necessary changes to be in compliance with the new minimum wage law beginning January 1st, 2026. There is a schedule on there. This is an action item that we need to adopt as a board. I'll need a motion and second to.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Baxter, second by Trustee Malulu. Any discussion? I think there's another employment-related item that we cannot have the student trustee.
I'll second it.
All right, I already have Trustee Malulu down for a second. Any discussion? Any discussion on the item? Seeing and hearing none, we'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and it is adopted unanimously. Academic Senate, no items. Academic Affairs, no items. Administrative Business Services, 13.1, These are the audits. It's lengthy, my apologies, but I gotta read this all. 2024-2025 District Annual Audit, Measure E 2008, Measure LB 2016, Measure AC 2024 Performance Audits, and Measure E 2008, Measure LB 2016, Measure AC 2024 Financial Audit. Pursuant to the Education Code 84040 and the Federal Uniform Guidance, an annual audit of the district funds is required in order to ensure sound fiscal management and both efficient and effective use of public funds. Additionally, Education Code Section 8404.3 requires that annual audits be reviewed by the Board of Trustees. The district's auditors, CWDL, CPA, have completed the audit and rendered an unmodified, clean opinion of the financial audits with no financial statements with no findings. Pursuant to Proposition 39 guidelines, CWDL CPAs conducted independent financial and performance audits of Measure E, which was approved by voters in February of 2008 for $440 million, on Measure LB, which was approved by voters in June of 2016 for $850 million, and then Measure AC that was approved by voters in November of 2024 for $990 million. All measures provide funding to implement our 2041 Facilities Master Plan as updated in 2024. These ballot measures follow the provisions of Prop 39, which reduces the voter approval threshold from 66.6% to 55%. It enhances accountability by requiring independent annual financial audits and an independent annual performance audit. The attached independent annual financial and performance audits for 2024-2025 were prepared by CWDL CPAs and meets these guidelines. An unmodified or clean opinion and with no findings rendered on Measure E 2008, Measure LB 2016, and Measure AC 2024 fiscal and performance audits. All three audits were presented and fully discussed to the Board of Trustees Audit Subcommittee on November 17, 2025. There's an attachment of both the financial and performance audits on the agenda this evening, and we already had a presentation on them both. This is an action item that I'll need a motion. A second, hold on a second, let me read this, it's a long one. That the Board of Trustees, accept the district financial audit covering the Long Beach Community College District, the LBCC Auxiliary Incorporated, and the Associated Student Body. 2, the bond financial audit covering the financial audit of the district's general obligation bond funds established in Measure E 2008, Measure LB 2016, and Measure AC 2024 as required under Proposition 39. And 3, bond performance audit covering the district's compliance with performance required for the district general obligation bond fund established by Measure E 2008, Measure LB 2016, and Measure AC 2024 as required by Prop 39. Now I'll need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Baxter, second by Trustee Zia. Any discussion on our audit reports? We don't have Candace tonight to pepper with questions. All right, seeing no discussion, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. It's adopted unanimously. Going to item 13.2, this is a resolution of rescission of prior district standards or standard designations. So this resolution 121025A, previously the Board of Trustees adopted a resolution 062420H and 102610C establishing district standards. Adoption of resolution 121025A will rescind the previous designation for fire alarm systems, building energy management system, EMS equipment, and direct digital control systems, DDC equipment, and will adopt an open standard bid specification model that includes or equals language pursuant to Public Contracting Code, Section 3400B. So I'll need a motion and a second to adopt these new bid specification standards.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Maludo, second by Dr. Baxter. Any discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted unanimously. Moving to 13.3, New revised board policies, Chapter 6, Business and Fiscal Affairs, Board Policy 6100, 6330, 6600. 6600. These are our second reading. This is coming back to us. There is attached for informational purposes, the administrative procedures, 6100, 6330, and 6600 for reference. Just to summarize, this is the delegation authority for business and fiscal affairs. This is the purchasing contract and capital construction contract. This is a motion that I'll need an action item, or I'll need a motion and a second to adopt.
So moved.
Motion by Dr. Baxter, second by Trustee Malulu. Any discussion on the policies? Seeing or hearing none, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the policies are adopted. Moving to 13.4, new and revised board policies, Chapter 3, General Institution. This is also a second reading of Board Policy 3710, attaches for informational purposes, administrative policies 3710. These are securing copyrights for the district in the licensing. We did have some questions, discussions when it came for a first reading of its relative nature to the library services and digital subscriptions. I'll need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Malulu, second by Dr. Baxter. Any discussion on these policies? Seeing and hearing none, we'll call for a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it. The board policies are unanimously adopted. Moving to item 13.3, this is new and revised board policies, Chapter 3, General Institution, Board Policy 3505 and 3600. This is a first reading information item. This is for emergency response plan and auxiliary organizations. So this is both BP and APs are attached. This is a first reading. We do not take a vote for information items. Any discussion on this, on these proposed policies? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go to item 13.6, revise and review board policies, Chapter 6, Business and Fiscal Affairs. This is Board Policy 6620, 6400, 6200, 6250, 6450, and 6535. This is also a first reading of these proposed changes. This is the board policy in naming facilities and resources, financial audits, budget preparation, budget management, wireless and cellular telephone use, and use of district equipment. I know this is part of our ongoing process with CCLC and for accreditation purposes of refreshing all of our board policies, administrative procedures. This is an information item. No vote is required. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to Section 14, no items. Section 15, Board Committee Reports. We did have the Audit Committee report. I don't know if Vice President Morton, you want to say anything further?
I think we're good.
All right, we said a lot tonight about audits, and we saw the presentation in great detail and voted on it already. Let's see, now we're going to Bargaining Units Report, Section 16. 16.1 is LBCCFA Bargaining President Report. Suzanne Englehart for 5 minutes.
I'd just like to take this time to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holiday, and a Happy New Year. And I'd just like to also, as you're creating the agenda for the coming year, to consider the placement of items 16.1, 16.2, and 16.3. Take care.
Next, go to item 16.2, AFT Bargaining President Report. Mark Smith for 5 minutes. Mark, are you here? Not seeing him, we'll go to 16.3, CHI Bargaining President Report with Crystal Huckabee. Crystal, are you here? Not seeing her, we'll move on. Now we're going to item 17, public comment on non-agenda items. I do have several blue cards for folks to speak for 3 minutes each, no more than 20 minutes per topic. So I do have Ty Davis, a student on water stations, ADA, and water bottles. Ty Davis. All right. I have Layla Goodwin on student success and equity. Lady, 3 minutes at the podium. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leela Goodwin, and I am the ASB Health and Wellness Representative for Long Beach City College, as well as the Student Ambassador for California Community College that represents Long Beach City College. I also sit on the faculty, appreciate it, thank you. I also sit on the faculty, should I start over? Should my time start over? Or y'all can hear me? Okay. I also sit on the Faculty and Staff Equal Opportunity Committee board, where bridging the Black equity gap is a conversation we often have. See, I initially came to just be a support. However, after receiving a school-wide email stating that we are officially recognized as a California Black Servant Institution, I genuinely wanted to know how. Because where I stand, from where I witness every day, I have to ask, where is the help when the Black students on campus are mentally fighting out loud? Yes, we have the Black Student Success Center, but the reality is it does not have the resources or the capacity to truly support the number of students who need it. One person or even a small team cannot carry the entire community on its back. And President Mtuk and Dr. Douglas, last night at the penance ceremony, as grants, scholarships, job opportunities was handed out, and money was being raised specifically for the nursing program, out of the 47 students that was on that stage, how many Black students, Black nurses did you actually see get pinned? Or how many did you actually see have the opportunity to experience a moment that'll bring us closer to closing that Black equity gap? As a previous nursing major myself who identifies as Black, I've been denied a couple of times, not because I didn't qualify, but it did make me wonder if I should have changed my race or my name just to be given a chance as everyone else. I stand here for every Black student coming behind me. So again, how are we being recognized as a Black student, Black servant institution when Black students on this campus is suffering? That is a question. And until we can honestly answer that, we cannot claim that title with confidence. Thank you.
Directly, but we'll love to follow up with you afterwards. All right, next we have Parker and Jaden. Is Parker still here?
Hello? All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, thank you. First off, sorry for any sniffling, coughing, and weird voice I may have. I'm coming down from a awful cold. I'm past the point of like the awful fever and body aches, and now I'm at the point where I'm hacking a lung out. I had a whole thing prepared tonight. I'm gonna briefly talk about Palestine because it's important. Yeah, there you go. There you go. The death toll right now is at 70,000, and that is almost certainly a conservative estimate. 85% of the buildings in Gaza have been destroyed. It is very important that we speak up about this. Again, at the very beginning of this conference, we said the Pledge of Allegiance and that we acknowledge the genocide of I forget the people we committed the genocide against. But we acknowledge the genocide, that we are on the grounds of Native American people. And I feel like it is important that we recognize genocide when it is happening. That is what I had to say about that. But, oh boy. Sunny Zia, your performance was awful tonight. I am deeply concerned about this as a constituent. I live in Area 3. You are on my ballot. This performance tonight alone has removed a voter from you. Excuse me. I find these attacks on the board in general and on, excuse me, and on Untook in particular, absurd. As you just saw, I am an engineering student. And unfortunately, that means I'm usually down to books. It's a lot of hard classes. I just had a physics exam. I just took a physics final today. So I'm not usually like on campus for events like that because again, I'm down the books. But whenever I am on campus, I see him. He's an example of a true leader. And I have nothing else to say. Oh, no, I do have one more thing to say. Your election's up in 2026, isn't it? Just a thought. Thank you.
Thank you. I have two more cards. I have Tor Celeste. Is Tor still here? And then I have Jaden. Okay, and that concludes our non-agenda public comment speakers. We will have a second closed session to adjourn into tonight, but this will conclude our open session. Just as we're closing, I do want to, this is our last meeting of the calendar year for 2026. I would just like to remind my colleagues, you received an email from Dr. Heather Van Valkenburg to complete your ethics training before 12/31/2025 at midnight. We're all responsible for doing our own training, and but just as she asked, one last reminder to folks who have not done it to please complete that. Because this is our last, 3 weeks here, 2-3 weeks here to get it done. With that, we are going to adjourn our open session. Item 19, the next regular meeting of the Board of Trustees will be held on January 21st, 2026, next year, at the TTC, the Long Beach Trade Tech Campus, with closed session at 4:30 and open session at 5:30. We do have a second closed session. I think I said it already. Yeah, I said it. We're going to have a second closed session. So we are going to adjourn into a second closed session now. But this will conclude our open meeting. And we may be back in 10 minutes. We may be back in 3 hours. We'll see. Have a good night, everybody. No gavel, but I'm adjourning the meeting here. We're coming out of our second closed session. It's approximately 9:54 p.m. We're on item 18. We're coming back 18.1, so we're 9:54. Second recess. 18.2, we do have reportable action. In the second closed session, the board took action in the issue of a notice of a non-reemployment to an educational administrator identified for the purpose of employee 0772930 pursuant to Education Code Section 72411, effective at the end of the 2025-2026 academic year, and direct the superintendent or designee to send out appropriate legal notice. The roll call of the vote was unanimous. That concludes our meeting. Back to adjournment, item 19.1. We're adjourning the total meeting. The next scheduled meeting of the regular Board of Trustees will be on January 21st, 2022 at the Long Beach Trade Tech campus on Pacific Coast Highway with closed session at 4:30, open session at 5:30. The meeting is now adjourned at 9:55 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.